I was kind of stunned that we had a swastika map. I was like staring at it like, what the fuck? I was like, is that for real? I thought, what the fuck, man? Oh god, what timeline are we on?
If you walk around Korea or Japan, you'll see those around. It's not like...
Oh yeah, because it's a different thing though, isn't
not
it?
like it's a hate symbol.
No,
yeah.
it's not. It's sun god worshipper stuff. Yeah, that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my initial like emotional reaction to seeing that map was, what the fuck? After a few seconds, I realized what direction it was in and shit.
Right.
Oh, that was funny though. Especially what's going on in the world, you know? That was like pretty hilarious.
준비됐다는 콜 들어왔으니까 확인 한번 해보도록 하죠. 도대체 어떤 일이 벌어지려고 이러는 건지 김명훈 대 이재호 개막전 출발합니다.
The Protoss dugout is dead silent. I don't know who the two people are who are in there right now.
That's so weird. Like,
it's got to be KCM and then one Protoss player.
Yeah. Maybe I'm curious what the reasoning is behind that.
I don't know.
I don't know. I hate it when it does this, man. Alright. Just need to get it up. Make sure everything's set up right. I think we're good. I've just left Audacity running so you can edit it. That's cool.
Cool. Sounds good. We're back. Season 1 of 2025 kicks off now. Jump into game number 1. Shun and I were speculating that we might just go directly into another season after Season 5, 2024, but turned out to be quite a long hiatus, so glad to be back. Protoss players are malding though. Look, they didn't even show up this week, Shun.
They didn't even show up. They are throwing their ape toys out of the ape bus. They're really pissed off. I can't say I blame them. They came so close and got so far, but in the end saying, doesn't even matter.
It's wild to me, but I took a look at the KCM channel and one of his posts was mentioning that the Protoss just weren't able to come up with a team this week. I don't know how that can happen. We've got a ton of good up-and-coming Protoss players who showed up huge in week number 8 of Season 5 last season. We're actually able to win a week. So I don't know where they can't just put together, you know, Backhoe, Motive and YSC or something like that and just give us something to watch. But this week Protoss is going to be absent. They weren't able to get together. I guess it's Valentine's Day. Shun, happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's
Maybe
Day,
the Protoss players are out hanging out with their mistresses or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's it. They are the Chad Protosses, right? Or maybe they're just pussy whipped, you know what I mean? Like, whoosh, they're not allowed out. They're not allowed out on Valentine's Day. What? The computer game is more important than me? What? The emotional manipulation is real, Sam.
That's just because they have super hot wives. Like, their wives are all perfect 10s, and
yeah,
and they won't allow them. They won't put up with that.
Yeah.
We're just playing around, guys. Protoss, I don't know what happened. This was actually played right before Valentine's Day was on the 13th, so who knows? Who knows?
Right.
But instead of having a Protoss this week, we're actually going to get revives for the Terran and Zerg. So it's almost like we're having another finals here, Sean.
Yeah, we kind of got like a little mini finals repeat here. I'm kind of happy about it, to be honest. I love TVZ. We're still seeing that wall in here from Light as well. Nothing unorthodox at all. Such a powerful way to open up as Terran here, getting a really fast CC and then walling in as well. Like, the amount of greed from this man is insane. Like, 14 CC basically puts you ahead in every metric in this game, unless you somehow catch them off guard with an early pull and early scout to disrupt the building timing. You're pretty much just dead in the water as playing from behind.
We'll see how Queen wants to respond to this. He gets in, he sees the barracks timing, he knows. He knows exactly what's happened. The moment you see that barracks isn't even finished yet, he's going to get into this main base, try to harass a little bit this SCV, but he is light years behind. This is Queen, by the way, who is fresh off of that victory, that sweet, sweet all-kill victory in the finals that netted him a huge payout.
Right.
Not getting the best of luck here in this first game.
No, I mean, yeah, a little bit of a weird end to the last season, it has to be said, and a lot of controversy and maybe even conspiracies were abound with the weirdness of what transpired in those games. But hopefully we'll be back to some level of normalcy in the gameplay. Although without the Protoss squad showing up, it kind of makes you think, like, is there any chance of having a normal week in KCM? I think not.
Yeah, that sounds unlikely, I would say. But Queen versus Light, this is a matchup that we've been watching for a very, very long time, since back when Queen was known as Zero.
Oh, yeah.
These guys are hardened veterans, and you've got to imagine they've played hundreds, if not thousands, of games between each other.
Oh, so many games, and not only that, but they've seen each other's like transitions of play. So, like, Light has mapped out how Queen has played over his entire career, so he knows all of his tricks. He knows all the micro shenanigans that he can do when he used to be a bit more of a cheesy player back in the day, and he also knows what his exact macro capabilities are of his more modern play. So both players have each other kind of pegged. So the amount of mind games and, you know, juxtapositions we may see in this matchup might be kind of crazy.
Really good early game Ling control here from Queen. He's only made a single pair of Lings, Shun.
Yeah,
so
he's
he's been macroing like crazy and hasn't flinched at all as the Marines started to push out. He also got rid of that SCV very quickly and didn't lose even a single Ling. So this push is going to come. It might force some sunken colonies, but actually Light is not moving. It's past the 5-minute mark. He's not moving out at all. He's being very defensive.
He did this before. It's the same thing he did when he was top left on the last series, where he didn't attack, made it look like he was going to, and then built up like 4x worth of Marines, pushed out, and then sunk and busted because there wasn't enough to defend.
We'll see if he wants to sunken bus here as well. He's got quite a few medics now, so to be able to deal with this many Marines and this many medics, you need at least 4 to 5 sunken colonies, right, Sean? Like,
yeah.
If those aren't done and ready at the time when the Marines arrive and you don't have units coming out to help assist, you're just going to get busted. This is a very strong push with +1 on the way. Light has played this out beautifully, and his macro advantage is serious. Queen has to get something done with these mutas. He's being forced, though, to track the Marines for now.
Yeah, even though Light's being passive, like, his upgrades are quite quick and he's able to launch attacks very soon. He's building up a crazy amount of infantry out of these 4 barracks, just pumping out. And he hasn't made too many turrets, but he's made the bare minimal so he can't just be counterattacked and easily cleaned up by Queen. Light ideally would attack north to this 3rd to get like a little checkmate move by killing the 3rd, but that's not a guaranteed win in this game state. Queen currently swinging around into the main base. Some Marines here to support the turrets. Pretty good turret formation from Light. He hasn't like really cut any corners here, so Queen has to evacuate the attack after picking up a few SCV kills. So nicely done on both sides so far.
I only see 1 sunken colony in the natural so far. Light has a big group of bio, but he's actually moving to intercept these mutas. Ooh. Okay. Maybe putting a little damage on one of those mutas, but for the most part. Queen being safe, keeping those alive, and tracking the Marines.
Yeah. This
Bioforce is not looking too scary just yet.
There's quite a lot of mutas that have been produced. I'm wondering how cautious Light is feeling about this game state. He might just like keep rejoining this Bioball up with a few more rounds of Marines and just hit the go button and try and hit just before Lurker tech is online. We see the Den just finishing up now. It's going to be quite a couple of minutes until Lurkers are actually hatching out of eggs though. So Light has a big window to push out onto the map, challenge these mutas into the center of the board, and maybe go for a bust on this natural expansion just before the critical Lurkers are actually finished and burrowed into critical positions to defend that.
Looks like he's hit the 7-minute factory timing as well, so he's going to have his tech rolling. He hasn't really taken too much damage in this game, so no reason that he shouldn't have that. His Bioforce is looking quite scary, but more than 12 mutas are active now. And he's gathering up to that large count. Oh, this is some very good trading with the mutas. My goodness.
Yeah.
Queen, he took out like 6 Marines without losing a single Mutalisk there. Very impressive stuff.
Queen is just a barber today, just taking a little bit off the top over and over again, and he's grinded this down to an absolute nub now, and he's coming intercepting the reinforcement Marines as well, shaving off whatever he can, and he's going to give him a bit of a buzz cut if he's not too careful. He needs to maintain the hair follicles into tight formations to not allow the mutas to come and separate what's left of his balding mug.
Yeah, it's looking a bit desperate here, and Light is just going to break off a big group of Marines and head up towards the third base, but immediately caught on to that. Queen is not going to allow that base to get taken down for free, or the drones there to get ravaged for free, so he brings his mutas together, cuts off that bit of split force, and now Light is going to be struggling here. There's already Lurkers going to be spawning on high ground. I kind of like that Queen took that high ground base rather than the natural. It's so much easier to hold. In the modern day, it's so much more normal to take the low ground, but knowing that Light was going to have a lot of power in this game with the early CC, I think that was a bold decision, a smart decision from Queen.
No, it's actually kind of critical. It's probably one of the only things that's keeping him being safe in this game. If he had to sunken and lurker up the natural here, Light actually can bust through on the right, and he's actually looking a lot better. Now, though, Queen is looking so tight. He just needs to get up to Defiler Tech and then retake the 4th base with Swarm later on. Light is kind of desperate to make something happen in the next couple of minutes here, because in like 1 or 2 minutes, Queen is going to have all the tools that he needs to end this game, Sam.
Light is still very capable of taking this game late and making it, a 4-base Terran versus 4-base Zerg and trying to shut down that 5th. For now, he's not fully committing into the natural, but he's threatening there, and Queen forced to make a few extra Lurker eggs at the front just to body block and soak up some damage. The Defiler Mound is just about done. I wonder how the upgrades are looking, though, for Queen. Does he have +1 on the way just yet?
I mean, it should be
on the way. We don't have it finished.
But I know...
+1 is done, of course, here for Light.
I like how Queen kind of got away with making the bare minimal defense, though. That was only like 2 sunk, 3 lurker. I mean, really, realistically, Light could technically have busted in there if the Mutalisk micro wasn't too potent. There was a way of coming in there and technically busting, but it's just so hard to do in that like tight corridor, and you're risking it going so horribly wrong. It's not really worth it to even attempt that. So I do like that he didn't really commit to an attack there. Is finally starting to get a bit more late game potential online for himself, but honestly, like, his attack has kind of fizzled out. He's got such a large mass of army that he can't really utilize right now. Vessels are only just started to come out. Not a lot of irradiates to help break through these positions, or using defense matrix either. Doesn't have like any tank pushes potential either. Needs to just kind of sit back and turtle, take his 3rd base, and try and transition into a late game. It's not the most ideal position to be in as Light, but it's not terrible either. But look at Queen, he's throwing down so many macro hatcheries. It's going to get crazy this game soon. I'm a little bit worried for Light.
Well, Queen has these Mutalisks being very aggressive and trying to shut down bases as they're coming up, but at the same time, he doesn't have those mutas at home to potentially shut down a drop that's coming in. If Light was going for a drop, there's a potential there, but it doesn't seem like he wants to. is just trying to get these bases online and play safe. He is going to contain at the bottom of this ramp his opponent from coming down, Queen from coming down this ramp and actually taking this base easily, but I think this is an inevitability. Queen is eventually going to come down and get this fourth base, and now he's out on the map. Actually, he's looking for some counter-attacking, maybe going to go towards 6 o'clock. I think he suspects that Light will be double expanding soon, and that's a reasonable suspicion to have at this point.
Yeah, he's thinking that Light needs to do something to come back in this game. Because Queen has kind of done a great job of flipping the script and like putting the onus on Light to do something. And unfortunately, Light's build order choice has kind of bottlenecked him into this mid-game focused style. He's now transitioning out of it, but it's a little bit slow. And trying to set up this fourth base in the bottom left will get easily dealt with. Please cancel that at least. Doesn't even cancel it. That's a bit of an issue for Light to have to suffer. It's like 400 minerals down the drain. And he's kind of getting a run around right now. If he can somehow intercept these mutilars, it'd be great for him with these Marines, but he's not really able to do so. Instead, Queen being a little bit annoying, just keep flying around with these mutilars, keeping him distracted, so he can't really assault or lay siege to the Zerg, and isn't really growing that much either. So I'm a little bit worried for Light still.
You know who I've seen play hyper aggressive like this with the Mutalists in the mid game is Dashik. I saw a game with him. I think it was against Speed, where he's flying around with his mutas and sniping down SCVs that are moving towards taking a third and fourth base. And he was actually able to stop his opponent from taking a base for long. I think it was actually Sock, now that I'm remembering. Flying around and just making some great use out of those mutas that would usually just be sitting in the main and trying to defend drops, but he's actually getting out on the map and slowing down Terran and keeping, more importantly, keeping Terran on his side of the map rather than just sitting out in front of his natural, irradiating everything that's, you know, all the lurkers and defilers that pop out.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of pressure off himself by keeping the army doing the run around Ring of Rosie on the map and not actually laying siege to him this entire game. Finally have a big fleet of vessels. Most of those irradiates have already been like chunked out on killing the Mutalisks, so not really able to deal much additional damage to the lurker formations and defiler setups here. So we now even have plagues being churned out from Queen. It does mean that Light has to be super careful, keep just a few proxy forces at the front to catch the defiler moving out, so he doesn't just get a whole clump of bio force get absolutely obliterated by, you know, chili sauce or ketchup. So this is going to be an awkward game for Light going forward. He has some tools to work with. We see him moving in now with the science vessels to put on some pressure, try and hunt down these defilers, and then maybe there's a glitch in the macro cycle of Queen and we don't have a defiler in place to take over once these swarms kick out.
Actually, he went into attack upgrade for Hydralisk, so this is going to be a Hydralisk defiler game from Queen. That's interesting.
Nice.
Usually don't see it when they're taking this formation of bases, the other natural or the other main base. That usually transitions into a more Ultralisk heavy play style, but here he's going to be going for that much more. Oh my gosh, the lurker's actually getting surrounded here. This is a lot of Marines, and they're hitting from all different angles. Great job by Light to just surround that army, killing off a bunch of lurkers here. And just forcing Queen back on the map. But yeah, like I was saying, this is kind of unorthodox to see him going for this highly efficient style, and I think that Light's doing a fantastic job dealing with it. Where are the tanks, though? It's time to start getting a bunch of tanks, bunch of extra factories to really start cranking those out.
We saw one factory landed in the natural expansion. He needs to start churning them out right now. He needs some kind of siege support. These Hydras are going to be a nightmare for him, and it will be a way of dealing with the massive cloud of vessels that's currently in the fleet of the Terran. One big plague on those, and then the Hydras can snipe them out of the sky. 2 drop ships are currently loaded up, trying to make their way out. Looks like Queen, though, had a way of spotting that, but didn't click on it, so I don't think he's actually knows these drop ships are coming in yet. He sees the scan, though, so he should assume that there's a drop coming with the scan.
Oh, the huge plague there, though. Absolutely magnificent, that plague, doing so much damage. Now, the drops, thinking about coming in, the Scourge are ready. Can he actually get this off? He's immediately going to lose one of these drop ships. And that takes a lot of the wind out of the sails for Light. Can he actually snipe the Nidus Canal, though? It seems like he will. Only Ling's popping through there at the last second, but there's no medics with this force anymore. And so these Marines and Firebats will be cleaned out without too many losses. Lurkers pushing forward. Meanwhile, over here to the third base, this is getting dirty for Light, who may end up losing every SCV at this location.
Yeah, this is really rough. It's almost unrecoverable. It's lucky he's got these bases set up in the bottom left, so he's not technically out of the game, but this is really rough for him. And he didn't really find much damage with that drop, but if he did some follow-up attacks, maybe he would have found something. The problem is that Queen has like built macro hatcheries at both locations, so even if you do take out the Nidus Canal network, he can still reinforce with quite a lot of macro cycles. So really, unless you like commit heavily into a large fleet of dropships, you're probably not going to accomplish much, and that's exactly what he wants. And he's whittling down this science vessel count over and over again now. Only 7 of these, and most of them are on like 1 HP. This is looking more and more ideal for Queen.
Yeah, this is about as straight up of a game as you can imagine, and taking it to this point as Queen from the deficit he started out with the CC first build that Light got away with. It's really impressive to watch him push out and take good fights against Light, who just should have a massive advantage. He's managing to get that 5th base online now over at the center left, and he's going to be looking, I think, towards this 3rd base over here as well. The center right base is going to be his soon. A tank goes down against a bunch of lurkers. That's not supposed to happen. Even on an A click, those tanks will pause out of range and fire at least a few shots.
Yeah, I think we have some uncharacteristic falling apart of Light here. And he's getting his army completely surrounded on 3 fronts. Hydra's coming from the right, Defilers from the north, and Hydra's from the north and the west as well. Defense Matrix desperately coming in clutch, but not able to do the job that is necessary. Queen just rampaging him and gobbling him up right now. This is crazy, the level of efficiency we're seeing from Queen after being so far behind against supporting CC saying. Wild stuff.
The previous finals we just bore witness to, you might want to think that was luck on the side of Queen, but taking out those players and now taking out Light in a very straight up game where he's behind in the early game macro. This guy is playing at a super high level. I am so excited to see what he can do in SSL Shun.
Yeah.
And what will he be able to do today? Is he going to be able to go all the way again? Another all kill for Queen? Is that even possible? It's certainly not going to net him as much money this time if he manages to make that happen, but it would be amazing for his confidence and for... Oh my god, the Queen fans out there would be absolutely frothing at the mouth for him this season.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of parasocial relationships set up yet again after that performance, if he can somehow pull it out. Would love to see him do it as well. Would love to see a return of the Zero of old. He's such a strong player. Has it in him, just hasn't really had his confidence or the hunger for it. So far, though, he seems pretty confident and pretty hungry. Dropship making his way into the base. Only 1 Scourge will make a connection, though, so we'll get all of these units out. Has got plenty of links in the rally points, though. Should be able to clean this up pretty efficiently.
And he's got the Scourge there as well. Looks like he shuts down that dropship as it tries to escape. Very good stuff from Queen. Even if you can't get that dropship before it unloads, at least picking it off a little bit later removes the threat. Killing a ton of these science vessels as well. In the middle of the map with just pure Hydralisk shots. It's looking so good for Queen now as he shuts down that massive science vessel count, resetting him back down to like 2 to 4 science vessels, I think, is all that Light has. But what does he have in bottom left? Is he maxing out on tanks now?
He needs to make factories in the bottom left to make... Yeah, there we go. He needs to just make a lot of tanks in the bottom left and just set up some factories down there. He's done a good job of just pumping out a lot of tanks. We have Ultras coming out soon. He hasn't got a crazy amount of tanks. He needs about twice this number to be able to just, like, you know, swat anything that Queen throws his way. And Queen just needs to keep the game chaotic enough that the Terran can't, you know, leverage his critical mass of tanks all in one position at once. So this is going to get interesting because it looks like Light has a little bit of room to wiggle and still make some efforts here. But honestly, Queen should still be able to overrun this with some good maneuvering.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see Light push out with like around half his tanks from the bottom left. Oh, great plague there as well. Oh, brutal damage. Spreading out all these tanks now. He's bringing everything forward. So this is actually a massive number of tanks now. This is around 12 tanks. and there should be more following up behind this, more coming from the natural as well. But he's slowly encroaching on this base, and I love the positioning, the tactics here from Light to just get in range of that gas and start to pick away at that. That forces the hand of the Zerg, and if they don't deal with it, they're going to lose that gas at this critical time in 22 minutes, is right as all those gas guys start to run out.
Yeah, this is really great play from Light. He understands how to force engagements from the Zerg, and usually is one of the best in the business at doing it. Queen is doing a good job of swatting him away just temporarily, gets a little bit of juice out of the orange of that gas. Eventually, though, Light should be able to pick that off. It is buying a few precious macro rounds for Queen to start coming out with a counter-attack here, though. Lots of Lings starting to make their way into the center of the board. Looks like he wants to set up a flank soon, as soon as Light tries to come in to kill this gas off. But so far, Light hasn't pulled the trigger of moving the tanks up to snipe that gas just yet.
So critical that he lowered that vessel count just a little while ago. Ultras are finally out now, but just a few lurkers with the Dark Swarm has been able to hold on for such a long time. He's still got that extra gas alive, Shun, and I mean, if there was a couple more vessels here, 2-3 more vessels, he would have been able to break through that for sure.
Yeah. And now look at Light. He's managed to leverage quite a lot of his tanks on this threshold at the north here. Bioforce going to work, splitting the Ultra Force in two. This might make it just barely easy enough for the tanks to clean up on aisle 5. A couple of tanks on the left and flank have been taken out by those Ultralisks, but the main threat of the Terran still stands. Some Lings coming in to clean up the tanks that are now currently undefended, though. If he might be able to clean up these tanks while the Bioforce are separate, but most of the Lings are actually going to try and save the hatchery, so he's not cleaning up the tanks for free right now. Maybe a bit of a missed opportunity for Queen.
Ooh, and he's gonna go for the patented eraser trick as well. Is there burrow? No, there's not. No burrow, but there are Scourge available. Not enough, though, to deal with all of these vessels, and there's a ton of kills going down over at this base. A lot of tanks over there by that center left base as well, and as this gets reinforced, he can start to push in.
Wow.
That's the only base left, really, that Queen is mining. Like
yeah.
Where's the other fresh bases? I guess center right is about to be mining here in a moment, but really, he needs to save this location if he wants to stay in this game.
Yeah, ideally. This is looking weird. And look at this dropship now coming into the main base. Like, this is getting a little bit crazy. Like, usually it's the Zerg creating chaos for the Terran to do it. Right now, we have a little bit of role reversal. Queen, though, starting to get enough forces to bat him away. Looks like he should be able to come in here and clean up this. Actually, no! Great little shuffle of the Marines. He's going to actually trade out on these Lings. This is great play from Light. Just tiny little micro adjustments here and there is making him win out on some of these cleanup trades. And then he's coming in, forcing more issues and more interactions for Queen to keep up with, and suddenly Queen can't keep all the plates spinning.
My goodness, he's pulling him apart. Light is getting in there and dealing the damage that he needs. I think these tanks over here as well, I'm sure that those are going to get wiped out pretty quickly, but there's a fire bat over at this natural. It's killing so many drones, and GG is called. Queen can't handle the pressure, and Light taking it late game, even after the ultra's out, still continuing with this, with the drops, still continuing with the tank pushes, and just cannot keep up. Queen taps out.
Wow, that's crazy. If you can't handle the pressure, get out of the kitchen saying Light's cooking.
Let him cook, boys. Let him cook.
Damn. It's kind of a crazy game, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I thought the Queen was gonna get there. I thought he was gonna have that one.
He had a really good game state. He completely flipped the. He had Light on the back foot for quite a while. Light created some pretty good attack opportunities, and like Queen always like had just barely almost enough to clean up what Light was doing, but Light always would like just barely like shuffle his Marines back a little bit so that when the Lings came in to clean them up, they just barely wouldn't win. And it then means that you've got to go and deal with the Marines again, and it distracts you from what the other thing you wanted to do. And he just kept doing that to him over and over again. He just forced interactions. So that was like really high level stuff. Because StarCraft is all about interactions, and like, even though he was like playing a little bit sloppy at one point, he somehow managed to force like an ocean of interactions for Queen to keep up with, and all the plates came crashing down. It's fucking kind of inspiring to watch, like turning a game into that.
Yeah, I mean, there were some moments where like the plagues were just insane. Some of those plagues were wildly successful,
Yeah.
but still not good enough.
I mean, Queen was playing out of his mind and doing a great job, and Light still managed to get it on lock.
Okay. All right, we got it back. Ready to go?
Yeah.
토스칸이 비었을 때 약간 좀 양념이 좀 빠진 것 같은 들어가자 재료가 이런 느낌일 줄 알았는데.
Well, Queen going down first. I didn't see that coming. Thought that he was doing pretty darn well against the opener that Light put together. He had that nice little advantage and felt like he lost it somewhere along the way, along the mid game, but still managed to put together a beautiful late game. And now he's going up against Saxry, who is another late game king. But will he be able to get there with the pressure that Light is bringing today?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Saxry is honestly one of the best up-and-coming Zergs we've had in a long time. And he is very well-rounded in his macro capabilities, but he lacks his roundedness in elsewhere. So he's like got a bit of a curvy body, but you know, he needs to kind of like work on his fat distribution or something.
Yeah, he's needs to maybe take some lessons from a zealot or something like that.
Yeah.
Somebody who really gets up in your face and can show him the ways of the aggressive Zerg. I mean, Sulky is a great example of that, right? Sulky is the type of guy who you never want to go into the late game with him, but you might not even get there anyway because he's so aggressive at times. He's so good at setting up builds specifically for a best of series.
Yeah.
And he will pull you apart early on. He will throw something at you that you've never seen before, that you've only seen a few times and you would never expect him to pull out.
Or something from 10 years ago that you didn't expect him to pull out. Yeah, something along these lines of thinking. And that's what makes you such a deadly player. And keeping your range of play as wide as possible always keeps the other guy guessing. It's the same thing with any form of lack of information game. That's why StarCraft's more akin to poker than chess, because on chess you can see the whole board. You can't see the whole board on StarCraft and in poker, so that's why there's a lot more parallels there. And we see that being exploited by the highest levels of echelons of play once they realize just how much these ranges are important and how much they can increase their percentage of win.
Very normal openers so far. Saxry getting his hatchery down, but Light doesn't want to set up a wall in this time. He's actually just going to get his CC up. Is this going to trick Saxry into building a sunken colony at his front? Is he going to think that there's possibility of a gas here and a factory, vulture slipping into his natural, or what do you think that Saxry's gaining from this
I don't know.
scout here over the natural?
I don't know. I mean, I would hope that he knows not to throw down the sunken.
It's just so rare that you see Terran players play like this. Look at the natural right now. Doesn't that look like a 2009 natural to you as a Terran player? There's the supply depot there in the front rather than a bunker or a wall in or anything like that. Oh, is he actually going to jump on top of this? Saxry going for it. Some great micro here by Light, but he loses this fight regardless. That is a huge loss, and he might even lose this last Marine as well. Yeah, he is going to end up losing that. Kills the Ling, but dude, that's so many Marines down the toilet there before things even get underway.
Yeah. This is a little bit of a blast from the past, this opening from Light. Did kind of make me think of like the days of like Fighting Spirit as well. I saw some games that looked a little bit strange like this. But I mean, that's a crazy amount of Marines to kill early game for any Zerg. And Zerg's a bit, this Zerg in particular, Saxry, is a bit of a macro god in that respect. So this is going to get a little bit out of control with the 2.5 hatchery production value and not having to worry about a high Marine count early on. I mean, he can be kind of as greedy as he likes, or maybe as aggressive as he likes. We see a lot of speedlings coming out. Wants to kind of maybe put on a little bit of pressure here. He's forcing a bunker at the very least.
Forcing the bunker, and he's getting into his spire. I'm a little bit surprised to see this many lings come out, but it's going to force a pretty big response from Light. He's even leaving an SCV in the wall just to make sure that he doesn't die to this. Meanwhile, going to run by, try to kill an SCV or two, not able to get anything. And these lings are going to just patrol out in front as Saxry continues his droning and gets ready for this meterless transition.
This is really impressive from Light. This is like the bare minimum response that's like really optimal for what Saxry is doing. It shows a very high level of understanding of the early game shenanigans. Like, this wasn't an all-in from Saxry. He's just trying to bluff an all-in to kind of make Light overreact, and Light didn't overreact and has handled this very cleanly, even pushes out and snipes a couple of those speedlings just for good measure, makes it even less likely of a mutaling cleanup dealing with him later on, and going into his usual shenanigans of getting into a high count of barracks in the mid game. Might even consider cutting SEVs like he usually does like to cut around 35 to 40 very often and get into his production in the mid game as quickly as possible.
We're going to get to see Saxry 2.5 hatch his Mutalisk Ling control. Is it up to snuff? Is he going to be able to surround some of these Marines? He's got a good advantage in that he already took out a lot of those early game Marines. He lowered that count by a lot. There's a good chance that he can build Lings and Mutas and actually surround and kill any force that's out on the map, but he doesn't have a third just yet, which is a little bit concerning. He should be taking that soon, but you know, killing off that base, or killing off the Marine medic group in the middle of the map, that's what allows you to make the transition, to make a bunch of drones and throw down your Hydralisk Den and your Queen's Nest and start to transition. Just sitting here on two bases, you're not really forced at all to move out with these Marines. You can't really get that surround and kill with Ling and Muta if the Terran is just sitting back at home, not doing anything.
Right. I mean, this is almost perfect defense and response from Light. And yeah, Saxby is kind of hoping to catch him off guard a little bit here and find some holes to exploit. And Light's just not giving it to him. Light is just like sewing up like a duck's butt right now, not allowing anything to transpire. We see him maybe sniping this turret, not even getting this turret. Like, Light is doing a pretty good job of not overreacting to anything that's transpiring, but doing the perfect measured response. Is getting a little bit exploited sometimes by Saxry, but nothing too crazy, just getting a few Marines shaved off here and there. And without the third base online for Saxry, there's no powerful transition Light needs to worry about. So this has gone pretty much Light's way. I think kind of Saxry was hoping to make a bit of a gambit play here and get a lot more damage done with these mutas and a Ling follow-up as well, but isn't going to be doing so. So it looks like we're going to be seeing a bit of a transition into a third here. Has this drone at the third base at least to try and sell Light that he wants to take a third base, but has got a Queen's Nest on the way, so this could be a two-base all-in still. He could be like rushing into some kind of weird two-base play, but it does look like he's finally now taking that third base, which is really late, 8 minutes.
Yeah, I feel that Saxry may be thrown away a little bit of his advantage after killing those early game Marines. Usually when you get those kills early, the Zerg player are going to be able to take quite a bit of liberties and just drone up very heavily, take a base and not worry about the Marines moving out and killing that too early on. But he hasn't taken those liberties. He's built kind of non-stop mutas and lings. I mean, there's actually no lings out here, just pure muta actually. A few drones here and there. He's finally got his third base up, but I'm a bit concerned with how Saxry's going to follow up from here. Light's response, like you said, have been kind of phenomenal.
Yeah.
There's the hive on the way. It's going to hit around this 9-minute mark. I mean, what are we going to see out of Saxry from here?
I mean, just a normal game that's going to look a little weak, unfortunately. It's going to be a standard style, but a little bit weaker. He needs to come up with something that's creative. Very early upgrades, at the least. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what he can do. This late third makes things so much more complicated, saying. So I'm a little bit concerned for him going forward, the way he's wanted to navigate the game against Light. And Light now has an even more potent mid-game windows to exploit. So this is looking worse and worse for Saxry if Light can find some good mid-game pressure here.
Gonna catch that Marine that's heading over towards that bottom left. Some Hydras are making their way down there, wanting to get a lurker set up on that low ground. But it is a low ground. So there's a little bit of a weird situation here. He starts the 2 lurkers there on the wrap. I guess Marines aren't anywhere close to that, so it's not going to be a real big deal. But usually you want to start the lurker that's behind the ones that are blocking first, and then start the ones that are blocking after. So if the Marines show up and they start hitting the lurkers there in the wall, at least you can have the other lurker finish up first, so that you can start to deal damage while they're attacking that wall. And then as the lurkers in the wall finish up, then you can switch over, or you can pull them back to the other lurker and hold on. That's a way I've died a few times, is setting that up in the wrong order. But it's not going to matter here. Transition is fully underway. Look at all the drones that just popped out. He's going to transfer a lot of those over towards that third base, get that third gas online. It's just very late, and things are going to be a little bit fragile here for the Zerg player for now.
Yeah, he has got a lot of potential still. It's just for the mid-game phase, he's kind of just sitting back and macroing up a lot of drones and not doing a lot. And he is a little bit fragile. You know, there's a soft underbelly that maybe Light can expose here shortly if Saxry's not careful. So far, though, there's enough Mutalisks out. Defiler transition seems to be well enough timed that maybe he might just get away with it. Maybe we've got a real game on our hands here and Light can't actually find the bust timing. I think he will get Dark Swarm and Consume ready just in the nick of time here.
Oh, we've seen that even if you have Dark Swarm Consume, even if you have Ultras, you're not safe. This is Zerg player against Light. He did something kind of interesting there, though. Saxry built a sunken colony in his main as kind of a defensive measure against drops here. That doesn't really stop the drop, but it might buy you a few precious seconds to get some reinforcements up and in position to hold on. So I kind of like that. I think that's an interesting idea. That's something we rarely ever see Zerg players do, and I'm curious to see how well that's going to help in this game.
It's just to stop your drone line being eviscerated by an A move, I guess, right? It just buys you a few extra precious seconds to drone drill out and get, respond to the threat. And I think the precious seconds mean a lot in a game like this when you're zoning around the map a lot and you're not really able to respond with the quickness always. So sometimes a few extra seconds of reaction time is like the only way you can not just be crushed by the Terran.
Well, these Mutalisks are getting aggressive again this game. Saxry going to take a page out of Queen's book and try to get some damage done. Oh my god, he's losing everything. Wow, this is the reason why we usually see the Mutas just sit back at home and just defend in the main base, try to prevent drops or just be of assistance to wherever is being broken or whatever kind of attacks are coming in from the Terran player. It's rare to see Zerg players get out and actually do damage with it. That's why it was so impressive when we saw Queen do it earlier.
Yeah, he made a better showing of it, that's for sure. But sometimes you can bait out a lot of irradiates and then they haven't got enough in the bank to keep sieging you and killing all your lurkers and your defilers. So that can sometimes help if they've wasted a lot of their irradiates. But in this case, Light's got quite a healthy count of vessels, so that doesn't matter too much that he threw out a few there on Mutas. So looks like Queen's desperate to try and get this fourth gas going to kind of make up for how slow his third is. I'm not sure if this is going to work out for him or not. He has got the Dark Swarm in position, but Light can now lay siege to this point. He now has a little bit of a that's a great job of sniping those Scourges. Now he's got a great game objective to play around laying siege to this fourth base. So this now simplifies Light's strategy at least.
We're going to have a first plague. Not the greatest one in the world. Just going to hold position those Marines until the plague is gone and then bring the medics forward to repair those back up, heal them back to full. Not a great containment over in front of the natural though, and Saxry may be able to get out on the map with the Defiler, try to threaten top center. Where are the lurkers at this base? There's really nothing here to assist, and he's going to throw down one Dark Swarm, try to bring forward the lurkers. He actually will push everything back and gets a couple of vessels here as well.
Wow.
I thought that was going to be a disaster for Saxry, but it turned out pretty good in the end.
Yeah, that actually was really way better than I thought it would. And now we got a little bit of a Lings getting way more value than usual because there was no high ground vision. So the Lings got on top of those Marines before they could even start shooting. Have got the Ultralisk Cavern just finishing up in a moment here. Saxry just barely can bite off what he's can just barely chew what he's biting off right now, and Light not able to come in here and stop this fourth going up, which is kind of crazy and huge. Now Saxry, if he can start mining gas at this expansion, getting that 1200 gas a minute is now going to really start to kick in, and he can really go on the counter offensive and start to unload a crazy amount of Scourge and Ultralisks onto Light to deal with, and he's sniping a lot of vessels.
He's limiting the vessel count and preventing Light from... Oh my gosh, wait a second. The double D-Matrix was so crisp there. He throws down such a fast double D-Matrix on those two Firebats, and they're breaking through everything. More lurkers are going to come up. Some more spawn as well. He's going for the kill on the hatchery, but he may end up losing everything. Can he actually kill it? It's so low.
Wow.
But it manages to survive just barely. Love to get a click on that to see exactly how much health is remaining, but Light is putting on so much pressure at that location. Saxry not able to send out units anywhere else or put on any other pressure. The Ling counterattack that came across and went onto this mineral only and didn't really do anything. It's a shame that there wasn't a Defiler with that, because that could have caused so much more of a problem. Oh my goodness, he's breaking through. Light is just getting in here and snapping this base apart. He's going to Thanos snap Saxry's economy.
Wow.
Well, half of it just disappeared. A lot of his gas income is gone now, and his Nidus Canal that just came up has been eliminated.
Maybe that's why they call him, like, 'cause he's got all the Infinity Zone saying he's just glowing right now. This is insane how he's dealing with the likes of Queen and Saxry in such short order, and both of them look so strong initially.
The macro, what Saxry is known for, is slipping a little bit, it seems. He's not been able to get lurkers continuously to the front to keep that fourth base alive, and is having a hard time bringing Defilers where they need to be as well. The snipes on the Science Vessels were amazing. The snipes have been fantastic, but it just hasn't been enough. He's starting to push everything back now since he killed so many Marines in that attack. He has been able to drive everything out of this area, but that was really all that Light needed to do, was hiccup that gas income for just a small amount of time, so that Saxry is slowed down enough to where these battle cruisers will really start to take effect.
Battle cruiser operational. I'm excited to see them saying, and it is a great way of leveraging your economy as Terran. Getting on top of these bunkers with some Dark Swarms, though, is critical from Saxry. Might be able to disrupt these locations, and at least deny mining for some time. Forcing Light to try and put out some fires right now is at least a great use of his time and energy. Forcing some lost mining time at the very least will put a little bit of a dent in the economy of Light. Just one base worth of mining roughly right now. I think his main base is not even operational with those mineral patches, so does kind of limit the economy of Light a little bit here, but honestly it's not enough. I don't think. Eventually he's just hoping he can keep these battle cruisers on that side of the map so they don't start hitting his gas expansions and things like that. As soon as Light can start to push away on some of these attacks, he's going to start to not only clean up on aisle 5, but also start to limit the gas income of the Zerg by leveraging these battle cruisers, Sam.
One last Dark Swarm goes down over here at the mineral only. He's almost shut down every mineral income base. Every base that's mining being almost shut down for Light, which is a very big deal. Is he going to lose this gas, guys? Though Saxry has to keep that alive. He's got to send in the Scourge to actually deal with that. Something came in there. I guess it was like a Marine or something that came in, ended up dying there in that bottom left natural, and the gas geyser survives. That's so big.
Yeah.
I guess that second battlecruiser wasn't sent in time. I think there's something else over there. Maybe another battlecruiser making its way up. Can he actually snipe that gas? That would be a massive win. He does get it. No, he hasn't killed it just yet. Another battlecruiser goes down, but another one coming up to the front. It finally kills that gas. That is a huge moment here for Light.
Yeah, I mean, those spores actually can't really stop the gas being sniped if you position the battlecruiser correctly. So this is getting wild, saying like a very tactical game from both sides. Saxu trying to keep the game as scrappy as possible and chaotic as possible, but now Light putting on the counter pressure. So many Scourge coming out of the hatcheries, snipe so many of those vessels as they try and punish the Defiler positioning here. This is kind of a game is getting a little bit out of hand. I actually thought Light was going to have an easy counter attack and win here, but I don't think not as easy as I initially thought. Maybe he can just barely hold on here. There's a lot of firebats in the front line, which make it difficult for the Dark Swarm and Ling clean up on those Marines. So he instead goes for the Plague option, which is a great choice. Tries to get a Dark Swarm down. It's an afterthought. Doesn't find a Plague on these firebats, but as long as he's got a few Ultras coming in, he should be able to clean up everything.
Looks like he will clean up everything, and he gets that fourth gas online once again. We're at the 20-minute mark, so it is essential to have that gas mining. In fact, it's been essential for a little while, but it's going to become even more dire as time goes forward. Running by with Marines, this is insanity. He's going to go ahead and focus down. He's focusing down the spore. Oh my gosh, he's going after the spores.
What a game.
So that the battlecruiser can kill this extractor. More D-Matrix going down. More battlecruisers flying in. This is too much. This is a numbers game at this point. Battlecruisers hitting everywhere. There's no way that Saxter can afford enough Scourge to deal with everything at the same time, and Light's done it. He's broken through. GG.
Wow, Light is just such a god, saying what can you even say about this guy at this point? This takes me back to the days of Pro League where this guy was just getting all kill after all kill back to back and his teammates didn't even get to play.
There's a reason why he's so well respected. Can he continue this streak? Jaedong is his next opponent.
I need a very quick bio break.
I was just drinking water. I'm like a dog now. You know, a dog who drinks some water and then their face is wet. So my beard is wet.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yo.
What's up, James? My favorite Londoner. What's up, mate? I'm not from London, although you already know that. You're just trolling me. Calls me Londoner, and I'm not from London.
Course, mate. Come on.
He's being
Come on.
He's being a bit of a Jeremy Hunt.
All right.
He said you guys are the best, Sam, so that includes you.
Oh. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta hear the announcement, bro. Gotta hear the announcement.
Oh
I'm gonna be
shit.
so excited.
Dude, wait until they hear the announcement. Can you imagine these guys like we're being too calm and cavalier for how cool that announcement is, aren't we? James, you have no idea how calm and collected we are compared to the gravity of that announcement. Trust me, bro. Holy shit, right, Sam?
Yeah. I'm gonna put it as the intro to this video. But should we show it right now?
I mean, that's you. I mean, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the actual video, right? So I haven't seen the actual.
All right, let's play it.
Show it
Are
to
you ready?
James. Let's show it to James. Come on, let's show James.
We'll show James. All right, James, watch this, buddy. A very special announcement, and we'll talk about the new maps before getting into today's games. First, Shin and I are excited to announce that we are partnering with Starcraft TV and Soup to cast this season of the SSL. As part of the deal, our duo cast will be broadcast live on my new Soup account and uploaded exclusively to the Starcast TV YouTube channel. Shun and I will also be taking over the SCSL, the Starcast Star League, and International League casting for Starcast TV. Lastly, I can finally announce the start of the Super Saiyan Games, SSG. This is a brand new series organized by Soup, where top players will compete for cash prizes in a best-of-7 format. Soup is giving me rights to broadcast this series in English, and I will do so live on Soup's platform. After that, the VODs will also be uploaded to this YouTube channel. The Daily Dose series is getting a massive upgrade with this one, boys. We may still do some ladder series content, but there will be around 20 SSG best of 7s per month to look forward to. Look guys, just an aside here before we move on. I'm gonna do my best to be a valuable partner to both Soup and Starcast TV, but I can't really do anything on my own. It's up to you guys whether this partnership ultimately succeeds, because your support is the value that I bring. I am committed to doing my absolute best to earn that support so we can become better partners and grow the relationship with our Korean counterparts. The ultimate goal being that we, in the English-speaking community, can enjoy more content in the future. Shout out to the Patreon supporters, and thank you to our partners for giving us this wonderful opportunity. Now let's talk about the maps. Instead of an
Yeah, so James saying, oh my god, I asked for this, what the fuck, oh my fucking god, wow, I can't process, guys in the chat are gonna lose it, no, I can't process, deadhead, what, lol. Yeah, man, that's fucking
There
crazy.
you go, James.
Right?
That's for you, buddy.
That's what's been happening in the background, my dude. That's where
Yeah,
we're
that's
at right now.
That's been in talks for like a good solid 4 weeks now.
How lucky is it that I got to cast with Naokin, man?
Yeah, that was good shit. Shun, if you don't know James, he casted with Naokin for SSL. What round was that? I can't remember.
That was 8. It was Light versus Sulky, I think. Round of 8.
Right. And Naokin is leaving Starcast TV, so he recommended Shun, and Cruiser, the organizer of Starcast TV, checked us out, checked out our casts, and thought that it would be a good idea to sign both of us, or to get us both on board. And so he reached out to me and started negotiating. So we've been talking about it for a while, and yeah, we're really excited. We're super fucking excited. But
yeah, man. We're just stoic.
We've
so
been
we don't
holding it
show
in for
yeah.
we've been holding it in for too long.
Yeah, it's fucking wild though, right? Like it's fucking crazy. It's just Sane and I are just so stoic that we can hide it. But yeah, honestly, it's fucking crazy. It's like a dream come true.
We've been hiding it for so long. It's just like it's second nature now. It's not a big deal, guys. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Not a big deal. Yeah, hey Post. Post says, "Yo, Galaxy boy."
Sup.
Hope to
Post
see.
gonna have to watch that announcement later. Sorry, bro. That was only for James. James eyes only.
Yeah, he got a sneak preview. Nice, man. This is crazy stuff. I'm kind of excited. I wish I could like get in the heads of other people to hear that news that's actually happening as well, because no one knows, right?
No, only people on Patreon, my Patreon know. Yeah. I mean, some of the people who comment all the time are gonna explode. I'm sure. Some of the biggest fans of the Duocast.
Yeah, James says, "I'm so proud of you guys, so proud." Hey man, I'm proud of us too. We did a good job, saying high five. We've done a good job as a duo. We've come a long way.
Yeah, we've had a lot of practice. We're gonna bring it to Starcast TV, and hopefully, we're gonna blow up the spot. It's gonna be awesome. There's gonna be tons of people coming in, I hope, and people are gonna love the cast. And we're gonna make that relationship really fucking good. Like
that's what
that's
I want
gonna
as
help
well.
us.
I want a good English to Korean bridge created as well, of like working with them with Soup and Cruiser and that.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to like really build that bridge and have access, like deeper access into the scene. Because things are getting kind of walled off again. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I mean, things have never been more open, but they're also kind of walled because we don't get things like university content. The Starcraft University.
Right.
Some of the most popular stuff like Pro League doesn't get cast in English.
Yeah. The best comparison I could draw is like an allegory of social media, where you have connection in terms of you can like each other's posts, but you don't have the human connection of actually being there, interacting, right? Like there's some more connectivity than ever before, but also a lack of deeper actual, connection and access that we actually need.
Right. Well, hopefully we can build those bridges, and I think this is the first step, boys. This is the first step. We're gonna do our best, Shun. Gotta make it really fucking fun and exciting for everybody out there.
Rora just said, "Wish someone would cast Pro League."
Yeah, that would be nice. It's just totally organized by the players, so the only people who have access to the replays are the players, and I think some of the donators as well. The people who donate like a certain tier or a certain amount of money, you can get access to the replays. But unfortunately, StarCraft does not pay enough to be able to donate all the time to those pro leagues.
No. And I don't know if the Nokin's going to retire completely. As far as I know, he's just moving, so he can't do it. I don't know if that means he's not going to cast forever. I don't know what the situation was. You have to ask him that. Yeah,
you have to ask him. I think I've talked to him. I think that he needs a bit of a break, maybe a bit of burnout or something like that. Like he just needs to. He's actually looking for a different job. He's trying to get an online job, and he's trying to stay in Korea.
Right.
So he's working on visa problems, trying to get a job, and he just doesn't have the mental energy maybe to cast constantly. 3 times a week or whatever, but
he was doing.
He might still hop in.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he might still hop in.
I hope he does.
Like we might get him in Starcast TV here and there.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm sure that he'll be around still.
But it's very exciting news that we guys are happy to be bringing you. We're super excited. I'm sure you guys are pretty excited as well.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be stoked, I'm sure. All right. let's do this next cast. It's
All
getting a little late here.
Get it. Yeah, we started late for you, didn't we?
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of had to, but it's all good. We're
Lucky there's only
we're
2
chilling.
squads.
Yeah, just 2 squads. There is a revive though. Just
okay, so yeah, mini.
I should mention that again because I did mention it at the beginning, but I will re-mention it.
We should mention
Okay.
it.
맵들이고요. 남은 그 두 맵이 저거가 그렇게 나쁘진 또 않아서. 예, 저거 괜찮.
Jaedong, the final Zerg in the squad,
그리고 자리가
going up against Light
저거가 되게 좋은
here on Deja Vu.
자리 좋은 자리.
But I want to mention again that there is a revive available on either squad because Protoss is absent this week because they couldn't put together 3 players to come out here in game. We get a revive for either squad. So who do you think they're going to bring back if Jaedong loses straight up here? I feel like they got to bring back Queen, right?
I think so. I mean, he did look super good. He just kind of fell apart because Light was playing out of his mind and forcing so many interactions. All the plates just came crashing down and smashed at once. So I actually think Queen was looking pretty good up until then, especially how he managed to turn around 14 CC deficit into such a favorable position.
Well, it's possible that Jaedong brings this down. I want to say that I've heard from a reliable source that Jaedong has been playing quite well recently, and that he might be able to show us something special here in this final game versus Light. It's kind of all on his shoulders at the moment. Both his compatriots have failed, and so he needs to find a way to break down Light. He needs to find a way to take down Light in this 3rd game.
Well, looks like I was gonna say it looks like the option is going to be a 12-12-12 here from Jaedong, the 12 pool after a 12 hatchery, and then getting a 12 gas as well, optimizing for that 2.5 hatchery style. Probably relying more on a macro than just going in for a cheesy build to finish off someone like Light.
Yeah, the 12-12-12 is going to give you a lot better macro. It's going to allow you to get that 2.5 hatch out, as you were saying, but the timing on the Mutalisk is just not quite going to be there. It's not going to be quite as crisp, quite as sharp. Let's see if Light picks up on this and finds a timing to get in here and force a bunch of sunken colonies and throw off the macro build that Jaedong's trying to put together.
Yeah, the compensation with this build, the 2.5 hatch, is that you can not only make more Zerglings earlier on, but with the extra lava, but also you can get to a quite high count of Mutas going straight up to 7, 8, and then come in and kill some SEVs as a little bit of compensation for having a slower muta timing. If you can come in, kill 5, 6 SEVs, that does put you in a comfortable economic position going forward into the mid to late game. So you can sometimes find compensation for those slower Mutalisks, but honestly, sometimes it can be a problem not having that early map control and allowing the Terrans to get away with lower, slower timings. But look at Light coming in. We see so many Terrans try and do this these days where they're playing more like aggressive in these early game stages, but he's getting punished for it. These 2 Lings getting on top of that Marine easily. We'll get the Scout in the main base as some compensation here, but honestly, this is pretty Jaedong favored going forward.
Light's opted not to make any sort of wall in the natural, and I think that is by design. Map wise here, Deja Vu's been changed, as we discussed at the beginning of the video. It's not as easy to wall here anymore, and so we might end up seeing a return to much more setups like this with the barracks in the main base and then the supply depot at the natural. It kind of chokes it up a little bit, but it doesn't serve the same way that a full-on wall does that we're so used to seeing.
Right. I mean, back in the day, that's all you kind of would do, right? Is like have just one building to help like choke that up, and then you can sometimes add the bunker on as an option, and sometimes not. Sometimes it's just to deny some surface area, and you know, plugging up those holes with some units. It is so cost efficient to Terran to play this way against Zerg, to plug those holes up and stop any surrounds from occurring. That's why you need the Marine between the gap like he's got there. I don't think Jaedong's going to go for anything crazy here, but he has made quite a lot of lings, which is interesting. He does seem like he's considering punishing Light's move out here, but I'm not sure Light's going to do that. He's been playing very reserved and waiting for a much stronger force in the mid game.
Oh my goodness, the move out here is so ill-timed. But Jaedong actually pulled the trigger on this so quickly, diving on top. Marines actually managed to pull back the most of the way. Only one gets the bunker. How did that happen? One in the bunker, and he can't repair either. That Marine goes down. Jaedong is actually just going to win with pure Ling here. He's getting a massive advantage either way.
I can't believe Light moved out there. I was just saying there's no way Light's going to move out early until the early mid game, and he just did. He pulled the trigger. He checked. He wanted to snipe some Zerglings. He was trying to do his usual shenanigans of just picking off a few Lings and running back like he did against Saxory, but way more Zerglings were lurking in wait there and just pounced on him. And unfortunately now he's weathered a little bit too much damage to keep going. Like, he's got a few Lings to deal with here, but eventually the Mutas are going to start coming across the map, and there's no turrets currently really set up to defend against this. So you've got Lings on the ground, which he's got bats for, but how are you going to deal with the Mutalisk when there's not any turrets set up?
There's hardly any drones at all for Jaedong back at home in his natural. He really can't afford a 3-hatch build right now, so this is looking much more like a 2-hatch Mutalisk. He's trying to dive in, but the 2's Firebats just ravage those Lings. Every Ling goes down instantaneously. He's gonna have to kill those Firebats if he wants to follow up with Lings and try to pick off these turrets. A little bit of a mistake there from Jaedong. He almost had the win straight up, but he kind of fumbles a bit. Is it going to be enough for Light to come back, though? It still feels like there's a potential for Jaedong to win right here, right now.
Yeah, well, Light has to leapfrog turrets towards his own production line unless he wants to lift up those barracks and re-land them. So far, it looks like he's going for the option of, yeah, he's going to lift them up. He has to reposition these barracks right now because his production line isn't currently secured. This third turret coming online will make this a lot safer, especially if he moves this. But honestly, not having the production of this barracks is actually kind of crippling him a little bit. Not able to produce infantry is a big issue. Bunker coming online, their natural expansion to prevent Ling run bys while the Mutas are distracting in the main base. So at least we'll have some coverage in the natural expansion if there is continued onslaught from Jaedong, who still is not really droning right now.
It's a shame that he didn't go after those Firebats. I think that killing the Firebats would have been a massive boon to any attack that he pulls off from here on. He's built so many Lings. You know that he wants to dive this bunker, but it's going to be incredibly hard. Drones are popping. Jaedong is transitioning. This is rough, Shun. He committed so much to this. I don't know if he's in an advantage anymore, or if Light is starting to take the lead, because it was definitely looking Jaedong favored there when he took out those Marines, but he just committed so hard.
There's still some pockets to exploit, like this natural expansion barracks location setup, but honestly, yes, the response from Light has been pretty crazy good. The pre-repairs on the turret in the main base has also been extremely clutch. If Jaedong could get on top of that turret even just for a second, this game would look totally different. Light has done pretty much an amazing job of always making just the perfect amount of stuff not to die here. I don't think that Jaedong's got any windows to keep this going. I think he has to transition. We see some drones now mining in the natural expansion for Jaedong. He's made a small transition here. I don't know if he wants to follow up with more and more of an economic approach here, or if he's going to still try and finish this game with some sort of Mutaling bust.
There's so many turrets at this point, Shun. There's an insane number of turrets at each of these bases, and everything is so choked up. Usually those barracks would actually be in the main base, but now they're here, kind of making it hard for Lings to ever get on top of those turrets. So I don't know how Jaedong could break this. He's sending a drone down the bottom right. It's going to be a super late third for him, even later than this game with Saxory.
Yeah, I think after Jaedong saw how late this factory is, he's like, okay, I can drone up and I can still technically transition. I've got a den finished now. I'm not technically dead as long as I keep him pinned back in his base with these Mutalings. I should technically still be okay here. He's kind of right, but he's still playing from behind doing so. His tech is super late. He shouldn't die necessarily to what Light does, but he's in maybe a little bit of an issue going forward. If he can somehow go undeterred with this third base base coming online in the next 2-3 minutes of the game, and Light can't do anything to him, maybe Jadong can still find a win here.
There's a potential to wipe out this Marine force as well, right? With
Right.
some good micro from Jadong and this number of Lings, there's a potential to just completely surround and kill that. And in a case like that, he can buy so much time, he can get a ton of lurkers out, and he could just drone like a madman, get that third base really rolling, and eventually get into that fourth. This is certainly playable from either side. It just feels like Jadong fumbled a little bit after Light made such a big mistake throwing his Marines out like that and getting caught by the Lings.
Yeah, honestly, like, it was a little bit unfortunate. I feel like Jadong maybe could have won from that position. He just, yeah, like you say, fumbled the ball just a little bit there. Still has a playable game state with this third coming online. Lurkers are on the way. There's probably about a 30-second window where Light maybe could come across the map and force the issue right now. But I don't think he feels confident enough. I think he's a little bit worried about that Mutaling cleanup. And he only has one firebat with this army, so doesn't feel super confident just moving across the map right now. I can kind of understand that. He's getting a few stims forced out of him and wants to use that movement speed now to come across to the right side of the map to maybe at least force a few Sunkens out of Jadong here. He sees that the lurkers have finished, but there's no Sunkers finished. Maybe somehow if he can keep the mutas at bay, he can get a tactical snipe on this lurker hatching out of this egg, and then there's only 2-3 lurkers waiting in the back line. Maybe he can bust through here still.
Not going to get that lurker. Plus the Lings coming up from the flank. I think it's a good idea to bail out of this position. He's trying to put the pressure on. He's trying to make some moves here, but Jadong is locked up tight. Filer Mound on the way as that Hive finishes up. We've also got upgrades pumping for Jadong now. His third base is well and truly mining, and now he's looking to pressure the front once again. That's quite a lot of Marines in a good position, and still so many turrets are available. I don't think that these mutas are really going to get anything done, but at least he can prevent Light from dealing any damage to him. He's got great coverage, by the way, of overlords on the main base, like right outside of this natural, to see any dropships coming. You're going to have to go way around his Light to get any dropships out on this map and try to threaten Jadong.
Yeah. I mean, he can lay siege to the Zerg here, but I don't really see him making too much progress with the current game state. I actually kind of like Jadong's transition. It didn't look too strong at first, but I actually feel like he's found himself into a pretty comfortable game state now. It doesn't look too bad when all's said and done, and he has like kind of weathered the storm for that like 2-minute, 3-minute mid-game window where there was some potential counter-attacks while the lurkers were morphing, and now he's getting a great surround with his Mutaling kind of Sulky-esque style cleanup on aisle 5, mopping up the entirety of that Bioball just before the next rally point can come in and help defend and reinforce that.
Ooh, two irradiates here, dealing quite a lot of damage. He does manage to pull them out in the end, but that was significantly softening up those Mutalisk numbers, and there's not a lot of Scourge just yet in the base. Maybe there's a chance Light wants to pop out a couple of dropships and try to make some chaos happen on Zerg's side of the map. The lack of mutas, not too many Scourge in the main, and Jadong trying to drone really heavily right now. There's an opportunity here maybe, as Light trying to take his third base, to go in and put some pressure on with drop.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder in this game state if right now the supplies look very Jadong favored. Like usually you see Zerg when they're on the back foot, their supplies are a little bit lower than this. So Jadong's actually looking pretty healthy and beefy. Like there's a lot of meat on the bone almost, and he's getting this in-base fourth as well online, probably undeterred. These two dropships could come in and just like spell disaster for him right here, right now. I'm hoping he can scout these dropships and not just die to them, because it would be kind of crazy if somehow Light can flip the script on him with just these two dropships alone. It depends on how quickly he can get out of this Snyder's Canal.
This is tough, man. As expected here from Light, right after killing off a bunch of those mutas. Okay, he's gonna fly by this Overlord. Yeah, killing off those mutas or damaging the mutas. It's just so clearly the right choice to go in with the dropships. Okay, he sees it, but Jadong, his screen doesn't move. It moves now down to this bottom left, but Does he have enough stuff popping through the Nidus now to keep this alive? A lot of these drones are going down, and the drops are going to unload on the high ground as well. Lurkers coming forward. He might be able to snipe this extra base. The Vessel's following up as well, putting down a bunch of irradiates on all of these Lurkers, and of course the Defilers as well is going to allow this follow-up to really start to hurt. Here comes the Mutas. There they are. They actually kill off both of those drops, but not before so many units get out that I think this base might just be cooked.
Yeah, even though they prevented more units being elevated into the main base, it doesn't really matter. There's enough Marines already out. He will get the kill on this hatchery at the very least. This is a nice little tactical play from Light, limiting the gas income while setting up his own third and fourth base. We have this CC coming online in the bottom left, which might come in clutch if Jadong can't deny that as well. This is really looking really good for Light. Jadong now down to 70 supply. Way worse of a position he was in momentarily ago, and now also applying pressure to this natural expansion. There is no Lurkers here saying, and an eraser trick. If he hasn't got Burrow, he's out of this.
Dude, you cover up the names in this game. I would say that this is Speed playing Terran right now. Look at how he's tearing apart this Zerg player. Getting so many kills on this eraser trick. He's doing 5 different things at once.
This is crazy. Like, Light is playing out of his mind tonight.
I don't know how he's doing this with less than 300 APM, by the way. Speed does the same sort of thing with about 500. But somehow he's pulling it off. He's being very efficient with his hand movements, his APM. Very good stuff from Light. And he's even set up another base in the bottom left. Dude, this is S-tier play. Yeah,
really is. And look at that. He baits the units into the main base to clean up and then dives into the natural expansion to snipe the Nidus Canal before more units can come in here and defend. Now gets the Sunken and can go get behind the minerals and deny mining. Like, Light is playing out of his mind on a tactical, strategic level right now. Really high level execution and thinking.
Jadong is so far on the back foot. He's falling off the stage at this point. This man can hardly hold it together. He's got +3 armor there. But I think that's just +1 carapace and the chitinous plating as well. Lurkers coming up from behind. Like, he's falling apart. Jadong is letting Lurkers run into die against this Bioforce, while, I mean, the natural, I don't think, has hardly anything defending. There's a couple of ultras popping out, but his gas income is so low. He's got 1 Defiler. He's going to have to consume a bunch of drones if he wants to get any abilities off. He's not able to get anything out, and GG is called. Jadong cracks under the pressure, and Light takes the full sweep. I think he's going to take home the L-Kill prize there. I'm not sure how it's going to work with Protoss and not being present, but we're going to have a resurrection here. We're going to bring back one of these Zerg players. Who's it going to be? Who's going to be the champion that can possibly take down Light? We're going to find out coming right up.
그 투파이어벳만 없었어도 저글링이 앞마당에 들리면서 끝나는 거였는데 그 투파이어벳이 꾸역꾸역 어떻게든 생명 유지를 하면서 있습니다. 네, 오늘부터
They brought back Jadong.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. That's okay. They must feel very confident about Jadong. That's for sure.
I heard he's been playing well, man. I heard he's been playing well. I haven't quite seen it yet.
I want to see it. You know what I mean? Like, this is like Schrodinger's Jadong. Like, I want to see the Jadong to know it's actually alive. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's too bad I wasn't rolling there. That would have been funny.
You can use it if you want to edit out my audio.
All right, here we go. Surprise! Jadong is going to be brought back here. I am shocked, Shun. I really did not expect to have Jadong come back, but you know what? I heard that he's been doing very well. I just have not seen it yet, and I'm excited to see it now.
I mean, I want to see it, Sam, and you know, I'm in like a, if you show me yours, I'll show you mine kind of attitude about it. Like, I want to see it really badly. You know what I mean?
Is this the Jaedong of old? It didn't quite look like it was all together there. The aggressive Mutalisk control that we're used to seeing, that we long to see once again, it just wasn't quite prominent in that last game. It wasn't popping out for me in that last game. He had all the momentum he needed, right? After killing all those Marines. I think tactically, very smart play from Jaedong, right? He saw that Saxery game. He's like, okay, you love to push out with your Marines light. I'm going to set up a massive trap for you and just try to take advantage of what I know are your tendencies. And he did a great job with that. It's just the follow-up was not quite there, right? I hope that we're going to see better control out of him with the mutas in this next game.
Yeah. I mean, this map, I haven't really seen much of it yet as well, so I'm kind of just excited to see what transpires on this map. It could be any players at the moment, but it's just kind of amazing that we have Jaedong and Light on there. This map is super droppable. It's kind of like Andromeda. The map main base is so open. I wonder if we'll see that be exploited by Light later on in the game, or maybe some craziness from Jaedong with Hydras and Defilers. Who knows? Yeah, I want to see how these players are going to utilize the strangeness of this map.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys want to take a look at these maps for yourselves, this is the new SSL maps. This one called Metropolis. You can very easily download it from the SSL website. Yeah, link will be down in the description. He steals the mineral. That's interesting. Taking away the mineral. How did he get all 16 minerals? Did he didn't do any sort of trick there, right? Did Light mine that and then move back and build the barracks? I wasn't quite paying attention at that moment.
Maybe that's what happened. Yeah, maybe. Because it's 16 minerals, right? So you have to mine it twice.
That's very interesting as well. Look, Jaedong mining off of that one mineral patch we were talking about. That one on the very far left there that's kind of blocking anything from running behind the minerals a little bit, right? There's still a gap there that Marines could slip by, but it's interesting that he's just going to mine that one first rather than, just have 9 patches later on, or however many are at that natural.
Maybe he's had enough practice games on this map where it's a problem and you just want to get rid of that as soon as possible.
Right. Just open up the position so that you can get back there. Like, if you drop a bunch of Marines back there, it would be very nice to have that extra bit of space to fit Lings through to actually shut that down a little bit quicker, I guess.
Yeah. I imagine you definitely want more access to behind your mineral line, especially when there's that much space there. Like, siege tanks could be landed down there later on, and God knows what else. Like, it could get crazy out of control in certain situations. So I imagine just having that, as a non-factor would be ideal for Jaedong. So mining that out very quickly here, 4 or 5 minutes, and eventually he'll get rid of it.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Kind of funny that he mined Light's mineral patch though, and opened that up. Where it seems like Light actually wanted that open regardless. It's just one of those situations where one of you has to be wrong, right? One of you has to be, mining out the patch for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean?
Right. No, yeah. I mean, Jaedong's doing it so he's got more chance of counterattacks later on, getting Lings up into the base and making it harder for him to block the ramp and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, Light probably just wants to have more unit accessibility and doesn't care. He's probably feeling super confident in himself right now. Light is.
Absolutely. It's insane that he got worked over so badly with the early game Marines. He lost so many Marines and he still managed to hold on and survive. The confidence has to be absolutely through the roof.
It just shows how much experience pays off. It doesn't, and this is the thing, is as you get older, you rely on your experience more and more, because your reaction speed, especially as from a young male to an adult male, is so much different, right? You just get slower and slower as you age, and you have to draw on that knowledge and experience more and more. And Light has such a wealth of experience to draw on.
Absolutely. Moving out now. checking what kind of damage he could potentially do, whether there's sunken colonies there or not. He sees the sunken colony is finished. Mutalisks are on the way. It's a 2-hatch build from Jaedong this time, so Mutas are quite a bit faster. They're going to get here right around that 6-minute mark. Just the 6, though. So they won't be able to one-shot SCVs right off the bat, but it's still a major threat. Need to have these done in time, and the turrets will finish. We're going to get our first view of what this map is like to actually defend against Mutalisks on.
Yeah, and so far it looks like you can see why this mineral might be a problem, right? He can't really get his marines in here to deal with this too easily. Like, there's some ways you can exploit this and just sit here and take pot shots at these SCVs.
Might have been a good idea to start mining that out like Jaedong did right off the bat.
I mean,
but Light here, he's going to get to work on that now. That patch is pretty easy to hit with the Mutas, don't you think?
Yeah, it is very hard. I mean, this is kind of crazy. And you can just come up to swing right up to the top here and force the Terran to keep diving into their own main base over and over again. Look how deep he has to go with these bio units. And then he has to swing all the way back around to defend the natural again. This is crazy. He has to split his bio into 2 halves or just push. And it looks like he just wants to just push.
This is the problem with Andromeda as well, right? This is the same sort of thing with the Boomerang main.
Yeah.
Where you have to move so far into your own main just to defend. And the Zerg player, or the player with the flying units, can just jump back and forth between the two and hit you in either location. And it's so hard to defend. Now Light pushing across the map. A bunch of sunken colonies are being made. I don't think that Light can break through there, but if the Mutas are on the wrong side of the map, when all these bioforces hit, maybe there's a chance.
Right, yeah. I mean, and yeah, there is a chance, and he's got enough medics to do it. If he stims, gets in a good position, guns down them one at a time, he can definitely break this position. He's got plenty of medics, plenty of energy to do this. He should just barely have enough to break through here, and there's no way of drilling this with drones until Sunkens are dead as well. So this should be a pretty good Sunken bust, but now that the Mutas are coming back in, he'll do a massive cleanup on Isle 5. Oh, look at the target firing. It's not too bad. He's killing quite a lot of the Mutas. I'm not sure if this is enough of the Mutas, but he killed a decent amount. This wasn't like totally loss for Light, but I still feel like Jaedong's in a commanding position in this game.
Yeah, nothing changes at the end of that, right? A bunch of drones were wasted, yes, making all these sunken colonies, but the Muta number is still very high.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be able to come back in and just start abusing Light exactly the same way he just was. Comes back in the main. There's only 1 turret here now, so he's going to kill so many SCVs. And what I was talking about earlier is come to pass. We're getting to see some excellent micro control out of Jaedong with these Mutalisks. The Jaedong of old seems to be back when you're watching this when you're watching this control with the Mutalisks. This is like the absolute signature Jaedong control.
Yeah, less of a tired rat, more of a tyrant of old. Definitely what he should be. It's nice to see him a little bit more back into his older form, a bit sharper around the edges. I would like to see more play like this from him. I'm still, like I said to you in the break, like this is like Schrodinger's Jaedong. I actually want to see the Jaedong to believe it. Okay, I'm not just going to take it on just your say-so, unfortunately, Sam. But so far, so good in this game, I have to say. If he can, I can see why they revived him. If he can somehow maintain this level of play, who knows? Maybe we see a crazy reverse sweep. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be insane. We get the full squad of Terran, and then Light comes back with the revive at the end. That would be a great way to start the season.
Yeah, boy.
The chances of that, I think, are extremely high because it seems like this is the way that KCM generally tends to go.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum and the morale seems to be such a factor in KCM. Like, it's definitely a different vibe and different flavor of games that you have in this tournament, in this series, and it can't be denied. There's a special kind of energy in the air, right?
Absolutely. The SCV count is getting so low. 10 overall supply advantage here for Jaedong. He's re-droned a little bit over in this natural. He had to spend so many drones on those sunken colonies. He was pretty low at that natural for quite a long time, but It's nothing. Wait, what is this? Coming in and just fighting with the mutas. That's not what you want to do at a time like this. This is kind of one of the ways that you could throw a game as Jaedong from such a nice position. He's killed so many SCVs. He's slowed down Light so much. If you throw away your mutas, though, things can change in a second.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just one small bad engagement could be all it takes. Just a few too many mutas getting sniped off by those bio units. It's such a glass cannon matchup. It's just two glass cannons shooting at each other, and usually it's one shattering the other, but sometimes it can like quickly flip on its head, and suddenly you're the one that's being shattered. And that's why this matchup is so volatile, because the swings are just so crazy. It's like no limit hold'em poker. It's almost like Starcraft in its purest forms. It's kind of crazy. I think that's why people love this matchup so much as a viewer.
Absolutely, anything can happen. Just like the KCM. Science Vessel is finally out. We're gonna get that irradiate here soon. Waiting on some energy, and actually the upgrade is not quite yet complete. Lurkers are done though, and they're setting up in the natural and third. Jaedong looking so good. I don't know how you lose this game as Jaedong from a position like this, even if it's Light.
I mean, you think so? I don't want to count Light out. Because of what we saw in the previous games, like with Queen, I thought Queen had it in the bag as well, and Light just suddenly like made it look easy and forced so many interactions. He was playing almost like an AI, but so efficiently with a low APM. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how these guys get this good at this game. I guess it just takes hundreds of thousands of hours.
Something like that. Anyway, some ridiculous amount of time has been spent by this man right here. Light has, like you said, so much experience playing this game for 20 plus years. He knows that he is in trouble more than we do at home. He knows exactly how difficult this situation is, and he's currently calculating what is the best possible angle to take this game in that he could possibly find himself a way back in. He's actually building a second eBay, so he's going to be prioritizing upgrades, and I don't think he's going to fully commit to an assault here. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but with that second eBay suddenly being made, I feel like he's not going to... Okay, he's actually going to run right in with the fire bat, but it's not going to work out too well. That's a lot of lurkers, and the mutas in conjunction. That's definitely going to stop this push, and it doesn't really make sense to me. Why would Light want to pull the trigger on an attack like this when he's gearing up for late game with a second eBay? Or am I missing something here, Shun?
I'm not sure. I think he just saw a potential way of getting an easy victory there, and that was like probably the easiest gambit he's going to have all game long, and he decided to just go for it. Maybe Jaedong was just sleeping at the wheel and didn't react to the D-Matrix and retarget fire the Lurkers. Unfortunately, with the splitting of the Sunkens around the Lurkers, with the Overlord on top of it, you can't just attack move the Lurkers so easily, so you have to gun down at least one Sunken, and that usually provides you enough of a reaction time as the Zerg to manually target with those Lurkers. So Jaedong just like able to dot his I's, cross his T's to not worry about that too efficiently, just because of the positioning of the Sunkens was good enough. And sometimes having a good defensive setup as Zerg will save you from a lot of disaster potentially, and we see that happen here too.
Right now, Light has quite a bit of leeway. It's just Jaedong sitting back and getting into his fourth base, getting all his upgrades rolling here, and trying not to die. Radiate doing some pretty decent damage. We get a little lag spike there, but it's okay.
Little glitch in the Matrix.
Seems like this, yeah, a little glitch in the Matrix. Got to see some lines of code there for a second, but okay, fine. Okay, here we go. Dropships. Dropships are being made. Light is going to go for a bit of a gamble play. He's going to try and roll the dice here with a bunch of dropships and see if he can get in 4 drops. This is so standard for a Terran player that's fallen behind to just put all their eggs in one basket and try to get something done. I thought he was going to do something like double expand while getting into mass upgrades. He started the second eBay, and I thought he was just going to sit back and only make science vessels and try in that regard, try with in that way to try and get back into this game, but he's just going to go for a massive group of drops. He's only sending in 3 towards this main base, and it is so well prepared. Jaedong is never going to let that drop. But maybe the low ground. Okay, this is just on this map that you can do this. No, he does get forced back. Scourge are there. Jaedong is aware of that possibility.
Yeah, if you should be paying attention to where the Terran is scanning, and that will tell you where he wants to drop. So as long as Jaedong's paying attention to the follow-up scans, he should know where to reposition his Scourge and just deny the area position being taken. But looks like Light might be able to escort the dropships into this little cliff face. He's trying to get up there, but now Jaedong already set up with some lurkers on the periphery to just reinforce this area a little bit more. Everything just seems to be just barely sewn up tightly here. Instead, now we see a tactical drop in the bottom. Maybe he can break through. The 2 Scourge do take out the dropship, but he is denying mining at least. Unfortunately, not killing those drones, though. And some now beautiful plagues coming out from Jaedong, finally.
And triple drop heading in once again. He's reloaded up. He's going to try and hit. Can he actually get in here?
I mean,
Scourge do not react, and the mutas are going to be cleaned up. Some ultras are out. There's not that many bioforces here. With the Defiler, he should be able to hold this, but he loses the Defiler
no.
immediately.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's big. That is huge. The Ultras are actually going to get gunned down here. The Marines able to cleave through them because of the lack of Defiler. There's the Dark Swarm, though. And Light is paying attention elsewhere, so he ends up losing about 5 Marines to that Ultra. Just doing huge work. Gets behind the mineral patches now, though. One Ultra is going to make its way up here. It can't get behind there. So the Marines are just going to be that annoying for a little bit longer. It looks like he's going to get another Ultra. Another drop down here to the bottom right. He's trying to do this again. He's trying to make the game so chaotic that Jaedong cannot keep up. But is he actually going to be able to get in here?
So far, Jaedong
to the bottom right. Yeah, he's trying it.
Yeah, so far, Jaedong keeping the plate spinning, but he's losing a few of his drones. Now trying to get a tactical surround on these bio units with the Darkstorm setups. This Nidus is just barely defended. In a few seconds, maybe he'll be exposed enough to kill her, but with these Ultralisks challenging this bio units, there's no real way of getting that Nidus canal, so he has to instead try and get tactical snipes on the Defilers, reposition, get behind the minerals, and try and be as annoying as possible and wait for like more utility to become available to keep these attacks going and keep Jaedong, forcing him to stabilize by spinning his plates and maintaining the game state rather than growing and progressing while he's launching more and more assaults here. So Light is just trying to keep the pressure up as much as possible, but he doesn't have a 4th base saying critically.
Some of the plates are starting to fall here for Jaedong. Like, he hasn't gotten Ultraless speed yet. Definitely should have been done by now if he was on curve with his upgrades. He's having a hard time keeping up with everything. He's bringing the lurkers forward. We'll be able to defend this natural. That's a great setup with those 2 sunken colonies there and the lurkers to assist in that defense. Finally gets an ultra into that corner to dislodge the Marines from that back position. 3 drops making their way forward. Do they have any units in them, though? And are they going to be sent in to try and deal some damage? No, they don't have units, I don't think. And they're going to end up getting lost. Just the one dropship ends up going down in the end. The other 2 are going to head back home. But the time of the dropship is pretty much over. At least that's what I would say if we hadn't just watched that game with Queen, where he just went absolutely ham with dropships continuing into the late game.
Yeah, this is kind of wild. The only thing I'm worried about for Light is that he doesn't have a 4th base, though. So there's not a lot of gas for him. So we can't exactly do like a massive transition into like lots of tanks or BCs. So if Queen starts to get a few good plagues going and gets enough of these Ultra count out, there's not really a lot for Light to do about it. Like, eventually Queen will run away with the game with the amount of production and gas coming out here. And without a 4th gas online for Light, I don't see much of a transition from him besides like just 10 racks SK. Jaedong
just holding on for such a long time. It's finally his opportunity to move out and start to put the pressure back onto Light. This army is not looking that big, and there's going to be another plague? No. Just a Dark Swarm there. It doesn't really help out too much. But he's making space for himself. He's starting to get over towards Light's side of the map. He's sending armies around the edges, the peripheries, to try and get in here and deal some damage. It's like these two ultras on the bottom side not going to really get anything done. Army moving from the center right. I think he's going to be sending a drone that direction so he can try to get a 5th gas online. Light has not yet taken a 4th base, and he doesn't have any aspirations to do so, it seems. He's sending 2 drops around the top side, it looks like. Maybe going to be going in for the main again, but there's ultras everywhere. Drops are just not going to cut it anymore. He sent them towards the middle of the map. Maybe going to send them down towards bottom right, try to get something crazy going, but really, Jaedong is released. He is let free on the map now, and he is everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cows and not enough bruisers to deal with them. There's a lot more gas units able to be leveraged for Jaedong right now, and no gas expansion for Light. So he's just got 1 base worth of economy that he's trying to finish the game with SK Terran on. He's not able to do so, at least for the time being. Jaedong macroing away with these 4 gases might start to put the hurt on him in just a moment here, while getting this 6 o'clock base is being denied, but has got access to getting this 3 o'clock up as well. So if Light can't keep playing whack-a-mole with these bases all game long, then eventually Jaedong's going to overrun him. Pretty good surround here as well, using the radiated ultras as a double-edged sword, getting great splash damage onto those tightly knit marines in close formations. Would be great if Jaedong at least built 1 Mutalisk to come in here and snipe all these 1 HP vessels, but has done a pretty good job of maintaining a low count on those vessels with his Scourge.
Like this little hit squad from Jaedong. That's an anti-drop squad there. 1 ultra and a bunch of lings to just deal with any sort of drop that could come in, and there it is right now. Going to be making its way into that base and immediately gets shut down. Oof. 1 marine gets out of that secondary dropship. So this is the reason why we don't see drops in the late game usually for Terran. It's just that there's too much stuff, and the ultras are too beefy for small groups of bio to fight. Gonna get over here to the center right with some fire bats, shut down the mining there for a moment. But Jaedong's definitely going to be getting that online, and I still don't see a 4th for Light. He's running out of steam in this game for sure.
Yeah, maybe somehow that bat could have killed like all of those drones. That would be something, but unfortunately there's no real compensation here for Light. He's just falling further and further behind. He's trying to come in and get a tactical snipe on this 3 o'clock base with his main army right now. I think he might at least force all the drones out of here and maybe kill the... If he gets up top of the ramp, maybe blocking the ramp with the medics, he can make something work here. If he can block this ramp with medics and stop Jaedong from surrounding his army, he might get a tactical snipe on this hatchery.
Wow, he is actually doing a great job of blocking this stuff coming up the ramp, but there's just so much. There's that 1 muta you were talking about, Shun. That 1 muta going to work, kills a ton of these vessels.
Nice.
The rest of them, though, have been healed up or haven't been plagued, and so most of them will be able to retreat, but the fruit of the Terran has been plucked here. No real forces left for Light. He's barely producing, and he's only got 84 supply to 150. This is just a deadly situation for any Terran player. He's trying to mine the middle, maybe gonna try and set up a CC there, but I just don't see it happening. A great plague to finish this game off. And the comeback has started. Jaedong shuts down Light with that revive. And now he's going to be on the warpath. Royal and Speed are his next opponents. Dude, I'm so excited that Jaedong is playing fantastically. And then we're going to get to continue this series. Week number 1 is looking up here, Shun.
Yeah, it's looking up, buddy. I wanted to let you end up on... I wanted you to have the last word, even though you said that.
No worries. Let's see.
Damn. Imagine we get a reverse sweep, for real.
Crazier things have happened in the KCM.
Well, we're worshipping the sun on this map. Let's go.
Yeah.
I like to just own it. I don't like to hide from awkwardness. So I'm just gonna call it out, right?
All right. What was the name of this map again? Pole something.
Polestar.
Polestar.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
전체적으로 자리에 이점을 다 가져갑니다. 거의 모든
Jaedong versus Royal for set number 6 here on Polestar, the brand new map. Just been announced for the SSL and KCM this season.
Yeah, sponsored by some right-aligned political parties. We're thankful to have them here. But all jokes aside, we do have a bit of a sun god worshipper slant to this map. I'm kind of digging this. It's the right direction, Say. It's the right direction.
똑같습니다.
Yeah, it's the right direction, and it's kind of hard to avoid that symbolism.
Yeah.
It's just such a geometric shape, you know? It's gonna appear all over the place. And it definitely appears everywhere where I live here in Japan.
Yeah.
There's that symbol practically everywhere on almost every temple, so it's a very popular symbol.
In Shinto Buddhism, right? That's a big
Yeah.
symbol, right? Yeah.
네가 뭘 하던 말든
Yes, for sure.
자기의 이름
And
지금 보면은
if you guys know what we're talking about,
12도로 나
just keep it to yourselves in the comments. Don't go typing anything that gets you, you know, or don't go getting mad at me if your comment gets deleted. It probably wasn't me. It's probably the algorithm.
Yeah, the algorithm, guys.
저글링 공격적이고 이렇기 때문에 뭐 생더블을 또
Anyway, so do you think we're going to see craziness out of Jaedong in this series, or we're going to see more macro-based style from him? I wasn't paying attention about the timings of the gas here. Was that another 12-12-12?
2킬 중
I'm not too sure. I was busy trying not to get canceled. Anyway, we've got Royal is definitely starting out with his normal wall in here, and it feels like
그래서 이재정
kind of an interesting choice from the map makers that they decided to set up a wall, like a situation where you can't really wall on Deja Vu. Like they fixed the walling situation on Deja Vu, but then they allowed players to wall here on this map.
Yeah. I think maybe this is a map you'd want to let them wall in. Maybe. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm looking at the map. I can see why. I like this actually, and this could be one of those maps that
안고 있고
I would have to see how the late game plays out on it though, because it's got the stacked mineral patches in the center. I don't know how much that affects the late game in this matchup. Maybe it doesn't even come into a play at all.
이혜훈 선수, 김지성, 이영호 선수 다 봤기 때문에 야 저거
I thought it was the last map that had the stacked mineral patches. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, it's this one, right? Is this one?
야 이번엔 찍을까?
Is it? No,
My bad.
It was
My
the other
bad.
one.
My bad, guys. My bad.
Yeah, this one has like the little umbrella, the techno umbrella in the middle.
Yeah.
I think that it might not be possible to put the barracks at the bottom. I'll have to go and check this, guys, in my maps video, whether you can place the barracks at the bottom with the 2 supply depots over, or if the map maker set it up so that you have to put the barracks at the top to at least have one gap in the wall. I'm not sure about that, but we'll have to check it out later.
Yeah, I mean, this is like our early days viewing of these maps. I'm sure we'll become very familiar with them very quickly as the weeks progress.
For sure. And the players are gonna get to know the ins and outs of these maps very quickly as well. Like, it took a while, actually, for players to figure out some of the previous season's maps. For example, like Kickback. Nobody really knew what that was gonna play like until they saw Soul Key and the way he played in the actual SSL. So it takes some time for players to figure out the optimal way to play on these maps, and it looks like Jaedong wants to take the natural. So a lot of players this week have been taking the main bases instead and playing like more of a defensive style from the high ground and pushing down onto low ground. But this is more of a modern approach, taking the natural and then like backing into a fourth base rather than pushing forward into a fourth.
Yeah, it kind of just allows you an easier access to a fourth base. You don't feel like you're forced to play defensively all game. It gives you a little bit more wiggle room in that mid to late game transition phase. And yeah, it's a modern style that I've always liked. I was doing that a long time ago, trying to convince everyone how good it was, and a lot of people call me crazy. So I'm personally feeling vindicated right now.
We saw what kind of difficulties it can bring in the modern era to try and push onto that fourth base because of how good the Terran players are now at putting on pressure with Marines and science vessels in the mid game. We saw that with Saxory on Dominator when he was trying to push up onto the high ground. That's even worse. That's kind of the worst possible situation, is trying to push up onto high ground from a difficult spot there. It's just a kind of a nightmare, really, and avoiding that by just taking the natural, even though it's harder to defend initially, a lot of Zerg players are finding that to be much more beneficial.
Ooh, look at this. Getting on top of some of the Marines as well. Not quite getting all the kills that he would like to, though. Just a few of those going down. Almost got an additional 2 there because of no medic support. Also identifies the weakness in Jaedong's position right now. Wants to maintain a square formation, knowing that the mutas are in hot pursuit. Wants to batten them away and then go for a little bit more ground and take a little inch by inch here and maintaining a very tight formation of Marines. You don't want to just dive in right now and get caught off guard and have your Marines ground down to a nub. You want to get as many trades as possible with a good stim and all the Marines stacked up and gunning down individual mutas.
Yeah, 4 or 5 of these Marines get cut out of the bunch, and this Bioforce loses a lot of its potency against sunken colonies. Oh, the medics! Going on a little walk there. Where were they headed?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah, it happens to a lot of Terran players. You'll hear a lot of Terran players cry about it. Unfortunately, it's a bit of an issue, and if you're not paying 100% attention, it can just get you can get caught off guard, and all of a sudden you've got this to deal with, and now he can just trade away because you haven't got the energy to cope with the stims. Eventually, you can keep coming out and in again that you haven't got enough energy to repair all of the Marines, keep them all alive, and he's going to get all of the bio killed without really losing that much HP on those mutas. This is an insane game state for Jaedong to find himself in. This reverse sweep is looking not only possible but now way more plausible.
Royal's going to be transitioning into a Valkyrie play, which might be good. Okay, the Hydralisk Den is done. I was thinking that it might only be on the way just now, but it is finished, so Lurkers are going to be in production here soon. And Jaedong has a lot of mutas, but as soon as you get 2 to 3 Valkyries out, the mutas lose so much of their potency, and there's an opportunity that Royal will be looking for when he hits that critical mass of Valkyries to just suddenly come across the map and potentially bust open before the Lurkers are ready. However, mutas are going to fly in here, start to kill a lot of workers, start to wipe out the Marines that are coming in to assist, and as long as he keeps the Marine count low, it doesn't matter how many Valkyries you have. Because you can't bust through anything that's on the ground.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit worried about protecting this armory. He knows there's a lot of mutas, so if he doesn't have a good trade against this muta count, eventually this armory is now going to be exposed as well. He's a little bit concerned about this. You can see Royal's desperate to maintain a strong squad of a square formation here and prevent the mutas coming in to kill this armory. It's critical. Now we finally have Valkyries out to act as point defense, but he's got Scourge to snipe these.
Ooh, Jaedong. You'll love to see it. The moment he saw those, or saw that armory in the main base, he immediately built a pair of Scourge, or a couple pairs of Scourge, threatening to snipe that armory again. He sees the upgrades are coming. Can he actually get one of these kills? He hits both of the Valkyries with 1 Scourge. And I was going to dive in. Can he actually kill both of these? He's going to eat a lot of damage here to get them, but he gets both.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He lost a little bit more than I would have liked to. It was a little bit sloppy. It's the thing with Terran units. Just because you get them down with one Valkyrie hits with one Scourge doesn't mean you can easily snipe it unless you got a full stack of muters. So, yeah, unfortunately, Jaedong didn't have enough in his volley potential to just easily snag those kills. So he lost a lot of HP and muter kills. Now, Royal pulling the trigger on a counterattack, knowing that Jaedong's now as weak as he's been all game long, desperately trying to transition to some lurkers and sunken colonies, but he's not able to do so. The lurkers only just now morphing. He's got the 4 sunken wall, but the lurkers have got about 20 seconds left.
I love the wall here from Jaedong. That's going to make things so difficult.
Yeah.
Evolution Chamber plus 2 morphing lurkers.
It's a great setup.
It's going to be kind of a nightmare to try and hit those sunken colonies. So actually, Royal backs up.
I think he has to.
And he's gonna give up this opportunity that he has to deal some damage, because the Valkyrie Marine army is not going to be as potent once Defilers and Lurkers are everywhere and just defending everything.
Ooh, he's kept them alive after getting a lot of volleys off. That's pretty well played from Royal to get some damage on the muters for free and then not lose anything to the Scourge. That's pretty good. So far, so good for him. He can't just come here and bust this position, though. I mean, Valkyries are useless against Lurkers, so these Valkyries aren't really accomplishing much unless they're denying muters coming in here and also killing off Overlords. If he can somehow put Jaedong into a supply block by going around the map killing Overlords, then we can talk.
Some Terran players, when they find themselves in a situation like this, will suddenly build a bunch of dropships as well. You can see like 4 dropships suddenly pop out. Because the Valkyries are great at covering for the drops to come in and deal a bunch of damage. So we might have that sort of transition, but I only saw more Valkyries being made, and he's starting to switch into mines as well, which is an interesting follow-up. Mines get laid down everywhere, and then maybe a double expansion into mech play. What do you think about that, Shun?
I mean, that would be good, but that's not what Jaedong is expecting. Look at these lurkers set up here. He knows that Royal is probably more than likely wanting to go for a drop style play, but Royal doesn't seem to care about that. He just wants to get critical air superiority with the Valkyries and go on an Overlord hunting spree, which is exactly what he should do. That's exactly what I thought he would do. This is going to put Jaedong into a world of hurt where he can't even make units right now. He's 20 supply behind, and if he keeps hunting down more and more Overlords, eventually Jaedong will just be in a tactical checkmate situation.
Well, one thing about Jaedong's position is he can still just build that 4th base, and he can continue to mine gas. That bank isn't going anywhere. It's going to continue to grow.
Right.
And so, over time, yes, he won't be able to build attacking units. Yes, he won't be able to go ahead and increase the drone count, but that gas eventually he will be able to throw that into a massive supply of either Hydralisk, Defiler, Lurker, or just a huge round of Ultras later on.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like Jaedong's done a pretty good job of making a massive round of Overlords where he can now start to produce again. It hasn't been as crippling as I thought it may have been. Jaedong's done a great job of hiding these Overlords here that are now finally been spotted. It's a little bit annoying if they do get caught now, because I think that just might barely supply block him again.
Oh yeah, this is super annoying. Defilers are out though. Defilers are ready. We're going to have Consume here in a moment. And so, yeah, he's not going to be broken. He's not going to be broken. He has his 4th base on the way. I don't see drops out here. We're going to slow way down now, I think. We're all double expanding.
Yeah.
Building more factories, actually floating buildings out. I think those are barracks. Yeah, here comes the huge factory explosion. Second armory. It's going to be one massive transition into mech play. We haven't seen play like this for a while, but it is still very strong.
Yeah, no, this is exactly what he needed to do. He's done a great job of keeping Jaedong on the back foot and bought himself plenty of breathing room to actually do the transition. Like, you don't just do the transition usually. You got to apply so much pressure that they can't do anything about you transitioning. You know what I mean?
Right. For sure. And just getting the mines out is not enough. Just having a hiccup in your opponent's economy and then getting the mines in front, that's going to really slow them down to where you can get this tank number up high enough to hold those 4 bases that he's just taking now.
Yeah, the only real way the Zerg can win from this game state is by keeping the game scrappy and chaotic, and you're preventing a chaotic game from even taking place. You're controlling the game state, and you're also slowing the game down now a lot. So this is a perfect opportunity from Royal to explode in the late game phase.
Not a lot of mutas out right yet. Mutas can be an amazing solution to the mines. If you build like 4 or 5 mutas and then you have overlord speed, you could just fly them around and start to kill mines off everywhere. But again, we've still got Valkyries out here somewhere. This is hilarious.
Wow, that's the Fellowship of the Ring right now. I thought he was going to get that mine all the way to Mordor.
Almost. He almost made it down into the bottom left-hand corner at least. Maybe not all the way to Mordor, but trading out just a few lings for some mines. I mean, you can probably do a better job, but getting rid of those before the ultras come out is the main goal. You want to lose as little forces as possible to clear those out. Maybe sending 1 ling at a time would be more efficient, but I think the right idea is there is just getting rid of those mines early so that he doesn't end up taking a bunch of damage by way of mines on ultras later on.
Yeah, there's a little pack of overlords moving in a tight group here. Has he got ultra bombs in these overlords, or has he got ling bombs or something to come and deal with these tanks? I think there's something in the overlords. I'm not sure. Nice plague though. Look at this. How honestly, like, Jaedong's doing a pretty good job of like keeping the game state from being too crazy. But I'm just worried for him that Royal is going to be exploding soon. Like, look at him. He's taking a 5th base now. He's still applying pressure. So many drones going down the top left to these vultures as well. Non-stop pressure is starting to become too much for Jaedong, I feel.
This is a great play by Royal to just get in on top of this extra base in top left, that 4th base, losing most of its workers. The mines are still being extremely efficient. That earlier plague, though, as long as Jaedong keeps lowering the overall tank count, you can't truly transition here as Royal, because things are just going to keep slipping by over and over again, and the Zerg player is still going to get damage on you and not allow you to completely stabilize and just take control of the game. Oh, this drop coming in again. A lot of kills here. Finally, the dropship does get picked off, but these vultures highly successful with the drop play later in the game. Royal doing a great job with that.
Yeah, honestly, the non-stop pressure has been kind of crazy out of Royal. Like, it's been really impressive just how much he's making this game look easy for himself. It's like a jazz musician. It looks easy, but it isn't. He's just so smooth with it. A bit of a smooth operator right now. Beautiful plagues, though, from Jaedong have been, like, trading out pretty cost-efficiently to keep him just from being squashed like a bug. But that's starting to transpire. This is starting to look like the final chapter of a Starship Troopers movie.
These tanks still filing across. Finally, ultras start to come out, and the tank number is not that high. I'm a little bit worried for Royal, actually. He's been bleeding tanks this entire time. These mines are getting amazing value, though, doing so much damage to the low number of ultras. They don't have speed. They've only got +4 armor. They are getting back on top of these tanks. Again, look at how efficient this is. He's killing off so many tanks, and he's keeping that tank number low. Yeah. We do have Valkyries coming in, though. They're going to be able to get rid of these all-important Mutalisks. Wait, wow. Hold on. I spoke too soon. They all die. What? And the Mutas are clutching it up right now. They're going to be pushing back these tanks, getting rid of this position. Royal has to fall back. They actually have +2 armor, +1 attack. That's wild to me, Shin.
This man is like dancing like a ballerina, hanging on by a thread. Like, he should be dead. Like, the only guy, like, it's so hard to not be dead as Jaedong right now. Like, even though he's not doing well in the game necessarily, he's doing a great job of keeping the game in a position where he still has some leverage. Like, it's not like he's dead yet. He's killing enough of the tanks where the game state is still playable. He has some room to create chaos. This is kind of crazy how he's like danced like a ballerina on a tightrope like this and has just barely threaded the needle and hasn't died. Now we have a 5th base going up for Jaylong at long last. We'll have some access to additional mineral patches that are fresh and another geyser as well as he starts to become depleted on his main and natural.
This is some of the most plagues I've seen on tanks in a game. It just goes to show how aggressive Royal's been, always attacking with these tanks and moving forward with small groups, that he keeps losing them over and over again to plagues and lings and small numbers of ultras, keeping it scrappy so far. But Royal is starting to fall back and really spread his tanks out, controlling this middle with mines and tanks and doing exactly what he should do if he wants to try and win this game now.
This is crazy. I mean, I'm loving this progression from Royal, though. Coming in with the vultures like this, just annihilating the lurkers and then denying the mining on these patches. He knows this is a really precious base to Jaylong, so assaulting this position with some cheap mineral units is absolutely fantastic right now. These vultures are just like, 75 minerals apiece. There's no gas invested in this at all, and the mines are killing ultras, which do cost gas. The amount of efficiency of Royal right now is off the scale, yet he's still not able to finish the job and kill Jaylong, which is a testament to how Jaylong's playing so well in this game.
Jaylong has just been continuing to build upgrades on these mutas the whole game, and he's going to send a big group of mutas down towards bottom left, where there's only a couple of turrets and mostly tanks defending this position. Maybe he can get in here and kill a few of these tanks before the Goliaths come up to assist. They've got +2 now on the Goliaths, but these mutas are still going to hang in there with their +2 carapace, killing off every tank at this base.
Wow.
And now he can get to work on these SCVs. Jaylong making this game scrappy once again, killing off more units. He's actually ahead in supply now, Shun.
He's giving like a masterclass in how to keep the game scrappy in a mech transition game state. This is like what you guys should study in both how to deal with this and how to execute this, because this is exactly what you need to do to disrupt the Terran and be as annoying as possible right now, using such a few tools to such devastating efficiency. Both players are playing kind of out of their mind right now.
One problem I see with Jaylong's play, though, is the 5th gas has not been taken. He brought those drones back to mine after getting ravaged by the vultures, but he still hasn't taken that gas. And he's got a plenty of minerals here, but he's really running low. 22 minutes in, he should have that gas running, and he should have the gas at 12 o'clock running here very soon, but he's pouring down ultras and lings. Can he get a reasonable, efficient trade against some of these tanks, or will he just get wiped out? He's actually doing quite well so far, getting on top of these 3 tanks on the left-hand side, while these unsieged tanks just take straight up fights against Lings and Ultras. That's usually a pretty good trade for the Lings and Ultras, and the army's getting reduced here quite a bit, but Royal is pulling ahead in supply overall.
Yeah, Jaylong, though, still missing out on one of those gases. Has taken the 12 o'clock, but not this natural third in the top left, so he's still missing out on another 300 gas per minute. Has increased it by the same amount, though. If he does start mining this gas with 3 drones, will increase enough to start to keep the pressure out and keep pushing Royal back. He's done a great job of killing so many tanks, but now he's having to let go of the gas pedal because he's run out of steam. He doesn't have these 2 gases online yet. Finally, we see the gas guys are going up at that natural third in the top left, so we'll have another 600 gas coming in each minute once those are fully operational at the very least.
Oh, that's good to see. I was getting a bit worried there, Jaylong not mining that gas for so long, but wow, this army is not that big. There's a lot of ultras coming down. Nothing is sieged. What is happening? Huge plague on a ton of these tanks. Pushing everything back here. A secondary follow-up plague. Oh my goodness, the efficiency here, Shun. Wow. You were talking earlier about mines versus those ultras, but plague on all of these tanks is insane value.
We're seeing a masterclass in efficiency from both players this game, saying on both sides they've been really trading tactically. See here, he just comes in and sweeps and clears up all of those low HP tanks just before they can get reinforced. Absolutely stellar play from Jaylong. But now look at Royal on the counter-attack, opening up these undefended positions with just a few counter-attacking raiding vultures here and some vessels on the hunt, maybe for an eraser trick.
Oh boy, I hope he Upgraded, bro. We're gonna see it here in a moment. If he did,
I don't think he did.
seems like Jaedong has forgotten about that all-important upgrade in the late game. ZVT. It's so important to have that, but he just doesn't, and he's gonna lose a ton of workers because of that. Sending in more reinforcements to Natural. Starting to break through a little bit. Where are Royal's tanks? I think they're over towards the 6 o'clock.
Most of them are in the bottom left in the 6 o'clock kind of region in that quadrant over there. He's anticipating a lot more of a problem in that bottom left region, but Jaedong actually now focusing on the main base. This is kind of like ZVP level of thinking. Usually the worst defended space is the natural expansion of the original main base, and the most defended spots are everywhere else. So sometimes in the late game in Zerg versus Protoss, you'll hit this main base natural expansion area, and that's exactly what we're seeing here in Royal. Royal hasn't really defended this natural position that heavily, so now Jaedong's trying to exploit that. Now that he's trying to reposition his army out onto the map to shuffle his tanks around, now Jaedong's pouncing and catching those up mid-transit and starting to clutch down hard on all these exposed Terran positions here. It's like the Roman Empire just finally crumbling.
Yeah, that's stretched way too thin. And it just can't hold itself together anymore. He's mining now on both of these gases, the top center and the top left. Natural, the third base, excuse me. This is craziness. Royal is losing army everywhere. He's losing SCVs everywhere. He can't produce. He can't stabilize. And I think that Jaedong has finally done it. He's turned things around with that big moment, plaguing all of the tanks in the middle of the map and then clearing out those units and then counterattacking to the Naturals. A series of events that slowly brought Jaedong into this fantastic position, and here it is. GG. Royal taps out. My gosh, and what a game.
What a game, saying. Just had a nice last look at a 19 kill Ultra as we finally transitioned out of a wild game. Jaedong right now on a Tyrant's warpath for that reverse sweep. Just speed left in his sights and a revive. Saying, I'm kind of stoked.
예, 여러분께서는 그동안 오래 기다리셨던 KCM 종족 최강전 2025 첫 번째 시즌의 개막전 함께하고 계십니다.
All right. Just need a little water break here.
Okay, I'll take a break as well then. Give me a minute.
Almost. You love it.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yo.
Wagwan.
Yes, yes, yes. Let's do it.
Let's get it.
일단은요. 자리 보세요. 코나도라.
Speed, our last Terran player, and if you've been following my ladder series on the channel, you know I've got a soft spot for this guy. He has been putting up some amazing games and really playing ladder more than anybody else. He's got like 5 of the top 10 highest ranked ladder accounts. Something like that. Don't quote me on that, but he's got a ton of very highly ranked accounts.
Yeah.
He plays against all the pro players who play ladder still. He's got tons of games against all of them.
I think Speed has got like 2 or 3 of like the top 10 Terran accounts on the ladder or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. At least that much, and I think it's actually the like 3 of the top 10 of all accounts, but
yeah.
maybe not including drop hackers. If you don't include drop hackers,
I think number 1 Terran is a drop hacker, and then you've got I think Speed twice, and then Sark, and then maybe Speed again, and then Barracks is down there somewhere in top 10 as well, but only once.
Yeah, I think Light's in there somewhere too, but yeah, this guy, he just plays a ton of ladder, and that's fantastic for my purpose. Get tons of speed games, and I've really enjoyed following him over the years and how he's developed and refined his style. Has been a pleasure to watch. So excited to have him as a staple now in KCM. He's been joining us a lot lately, and a well-deserved spot that he's earned for himself.
Oh, absolutely. I do kind of have to think back to his style of play being so much like the film Speed, and like kind of he has to maintain it above a certain threshold or we're going to explode. And he does do such a good job of maintaining that that finesse, that he seems to be able to just keep the plate spinning better than most of these other guys.
I think there's some good like metaphor there, or like a good facsimile there. And Speed is actually going to be able to put down his wall. So actually, with the deja vu changes, it seems like you can actually wall in top left pretty well, despite those extra doodads being in place.
Yeah, I'm curious how much it affects the wall-ins here. Maybe it just makes Go on.
Are the doodads there? This might actually be the earlier version. I thought they were going to use the new version. Hold on. I have to have another look at the natural. Yeah, they are there. Okay, so this is the new version.
It just means you have to build maybe your configuration a little bit different. So like technically this wall-in is weak because the barracks is on the outside and the depots are a little bit structured strangely. Like it's not the strongest wall-in, I guess. There's some counterplay with Ling's early game.
Yeah, so Jaedong only building 2 Lings so far, being very conservative with the Ling number, not really taking too much pressure from Speed. Usually you'll see Speed move out way more aggressively with these early Marines, but he's only got 1 shot here. It's not like he's on the ladder where he can just queue up again in a moment. He's the last player on his squad. And so he really has to show up here in a big way. Otherwise, it's
right,
kind of over for him. I'm sure that Light will end up getting the revive in that case.
Absolutely. No, I have to think that Light's going to be the guy that gets the revive, yeah.
And so Jaedong going to send out his drone down to bottom right. He's opting for a 2-hatch style with a 3rd base, possibly at the natural. I think that's worked out pretty well for him so far, so looks like that's what we're going to see once again. SCV down in bottom right, I like that from Speed. Means he's not going to have to waste any scans looking for the base. He's already got an SCV ready to start searching for that.
Right.
And he's going to find it really quickly, really early on, so he'll be able to reserve all of his scans for checking the drone numbers and seeing what's actually being produced by Jaedong.
Yeah, I love this guaranteed scout from Speed. So, like, there's no way, like, Speedlings can stop you from scouting. Oh, pretty good tactical snipes. You want to talk about the weak barracks. You can exploit it with some early Ling pressure. And Jaedong did exactly that. It's a fantastic play from Jaedong exploiting this wall configuration.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened there with Speed. He was maybe starting a building in his main as he started to move out there, right-clicking forward, and on a move command, these Marines get... a lot of them end up getting cleaned up. Now this push is not looking nearly as scary. I don't think he can even force a sunken anymore, Shun.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is really fantastic for Jaedong. He got away with so few Lings and no sunken colony going straight into Muta. This is like a wet dream for a Zerg player.
Right, and he knows there's no bunker, so he also has like an option of like pulling the Marines out and then doing a Ling run by as well to kill the turrets in the natural with just pure Ling, while the mutas are distracting the bio elsewhere. This could get out of hand for Speed if he's not really on top of things.
Well, Speed is going to kind of stay near his natural at least. I kind of like the setup from Speed, the way that he's positioned his turrets. The ones that are covering the natural are actually semi-covering the supply depots as well. So
right.
That's an interesting adaptation that Speed's made to make his base slightly more secure. Thinking about coming in and sniping at the back of this pack, but Speed is doing a good job with the footsies.
Yeah.
This M&M is not going to be taken down easily, even though he made an earlier mistake. He's really on top of it now, it seems.
Yeah, and he has enough medics that he won't risk getting overstimmed too much. With just 2 medics, you're in a little bit of an issue of overstimming. He does snipe one of those medics to force that onto a clock. With only 2 medics, eventually you'll run out of energy and you won't be able to continue stimming forever. So they will whittle you down to a nub. But with 3, you're kind of like can maintain that. Did a good job of maintaining that for a long time, and now eventually he will lose this Bioforce. Does target fire some of these mutas down. I think he's going to get 3. Yeah, he gets 3 kills in total. It's not too bad of a compensation, but pretty clean from Jaedong overall.
I love to take out one of these early game Marine forces out on the map. It just gives you so much breathing room as a Zerg player.
Right.
Alternatively, as a Terran, it's like you've just lost your eyes out on the map. You've lost your pressure, and
your map control.
Now you got to start. Yeah, you got to start building more turrets back at home. As a result, because there's an opportunity for the Zerg to just start flying in and dealing damage to you in your main. Without that pressure, you can't force the Mutalist back any longer.
Yeah, and look at this micro from Jaedong. He's shaving off quite a few of these bar units slowly but surely, like a barber. Definitely doesn't want to get a military style haircut by the end of this game. Needs to maintain a healthy count of bio. Look at this though, Jaedong, as soon as he comes in with a reinforcing amount of bio, he shaves off all of the bio that came in and kills 1 medic and then backs out, and he puts him back to the same game state. And if anything, it's a better game state because he has even more mutas, because he's actually producing quite a lot of these mutas right now.
Oh my goodness, these shots are so good from Jaedong. He's killing huge amounts of Marines with every hit, and he's pulling out injured mutas and keeping them in reserve as he resupplies with fresh ones. This is getting kind of scary for Speed. If he gets pushed all the way back into his natural and loses all of these bio forces, we could see 4 or 5 lurkers come across the map and just set up in this natural, and that gets that becomes a very sticky situation for the Terran.
Yeah, and those 2 turrets are nothing without bio support, so if he actually kills the bio force, these turrets are not that useful anymore, and he can just get like a bigger control group of mutas and then start to pick apart these turret positions as well. You can't really kill 2 turrets with 8, but once you got like 10, 11 mutas, you can just come in here and just wipe out these turret formations.
Oh, this is exactly what I was talking about. Jaedong sending the Hydra straight across the map. He's just going to build the lurkers right out in front and start to contain the Terran player immediately. He's already got his hive on the way, so he's going to put Speed on a very tight clock where he has to break out. Even though he doesn't have the tech to break out, he'll have to break out, or there will be a Defiler in his natural and the game will end. So
right.
This is just fantastic for Jaedong. He's done such a good job with the mutas that his entire game is so much simpler from here.
Yeah, you see how aggressive Speed's being? If he lets lurkers contain him, he's just dead. So if 4 lurkers contain him, there's just no way he'll have enough irradiates or tanks to break out. So he wants to keep a forward position of bio to force the contain to be further back, so it's not as, you know, restricting. So it's really important that Speed maintains a forward presence, even though it looks a little bit suicidal right now.
That's a lot of lurkers, Shin.
Yeah, it is.
Firelay Mound is almost done.
I think he's done for,
A
man.
drop. A drop is going to be coming out. Oh my goodness. This drop is easily going to get spotted, by the way.
Yeah.
Jaedong, once again, has the observers, the overlords, excuse me, in the perfect spot to spot this. And this Bioforce moving around the side is just going to get wiped out by the mutas. Easy cleanup there. Maybe he can take this opportunity to fly out with the dropships, but he's probably going to get caught in the transition, man. He sees it immediately. Where are the mutas? The mutas are actually over here helping to clean up, so they will not be ready to assist. But the Scourge are coming. Scourge are coming. Can he actually catch this?
They're gonna make it.
Oh, they're gonna make it in time.
But he doesn't pay
Wait, the
attention.
Scourge!
He didn't pay attention. He didn't click
Wasn't
on
paying
it.
attention. Oh my gosh, he didn't get the kill before the unload, so all the Marines are going to get out here. He targets down the one lurker, but it looks like he'll just barely be able to clean this.
I mean,
These
this
extra
is...
Scourge pop out. This dropship's going to go down. These are just pure Marines here. They're getting a few extra kills, but this is a great cleanup for Jaedong.
It's a great cleanup, but honestly, there should be no damage at all. Like, he should have at least killed one of those dropships and denied this from ever occurring. So, actually, Speed got some compensation for being in a really terrible game state. He's still not out of the woods. He's still in, like, a very low win percentage of taking this game. Although, he's still alive. Like, getting any compensation there was more than I expected he would do.
Yeah, I was expecting these mutas to just find those dropships and kill it immediately, but he created a distraction. Oh, and he gets the vessel.
Jaedong.
Oh, Jaedong. Looking so good, my friend. Looking so damn good at this point. Jaedong has not taken his 4th yet. He's going to spot this dropship coming in. Let's see his reaction. He doesn't have Scourge ready for this. Yeah. I don't see his screen moving in this direction, dude. He is not paying attention to this. He's actually paying attention to a bunch of these Marines that are coming in towards this natural. He throws down Dark Swarm. Does he have Dark Swarm? He does, but is he going to get it down in time? Uh-oh, he's paying attention to the bottom left natural. He's going to lose the Nidus Canal. He loses the Nidus Canal. Bunch of Marines are going to get up in the main. There's tons of... oh, God. There's tons of lurkers in bottom right. There's tons of lings in bottom right, but there's nothing in the main base. Is right.
This is a
Things are going very bad for Jaedong now. This is really falling apart quickly.
Yeah, for the first time ever, Lee Jaedong looking a little bit vulnerable right now. The vulnerable underbelly has been exposed. Speed trying to quickly capitalize on that. Not finding all the drone kills just yet. Taking the spawning pull out as a bit of compensation will deny some of those lings being produced. And that's very frustrating for Jaedong, not being able to produce lings at this critical moment in the game, relying purely on lurkers and defilers alone. You don't have enough like buffer and fodder to kind of keep the Terran units where you want them to be. Sometimes they can just start to do run-bys and dematrixes and cause all kinds of nightmares for you. Eraser trick. Wow.
Eraser trick.
Oh my god.
That's kind of a risky play, but it's going to pay off because there's no burrow here for Jaedong.
Yeah.
Jaedong going to lose so many drones, man. This is crazy amount of drone damage. There's no Nidus here yet either. That Nidus is just now going to be connected. The Ultralisk Cavern comes up, but he's been completely thrown off. Jaedong so far on his back foot. Yeah, falling backwards off the stage. He is losing control. Speed is just moments away from closing this. If he can just get in with another one of these drops and make a little bit more chaos here while Jaedong is trying to recover, it should be a quick win for our Terran player.
I mean, I really do want to see a reverse sweep from Jaedong, but it's looking I mean, I don't know. Like, I would love to see Jaedong go all the way and just demolish these guys, but Speed is doing a pretty good job of doing a little ring around the rosy right now and playing keep away. And I mean, this is pretty good from Jaedong. There's not really a lot transpiring down here. If he can somehow get this 4th gas online, actually Speed's not looking too hard anymore. Jaedong just needs to stabilize, get this 4th gas online, because his hatchery hasn't been sniped critically, and he hasn't really lost like anything like in terms of tech, like an Ultra Cavern or like a Defiler Mound or a Spire that's really going to hurt him too much here. But losing these drones to an Eraser is going to be really punishing.
Oh no, the Eraser trick plus the drop. This is what I was talking about. Another drop getting in is all he needed. Oh no, Jaedong is losing control, man. He's got so many kills on this vessel. 9 kills there.
Wow, man. That's crazy.
And I mean, how many drones are even left? This is what is left here. There's almost nothing at any of these bases. Look at his income.
Speed is like playing as if the Spire got sniped, even though the Spire didn't get sniped. He's just playing out of his mind. It doesn't even matter that there's Scourge. It's crazy right now how Speed's able to do this. Like, he's making it look easy.
There should be Scourge everywhere. There should be defenses for contingencies like this, like the player just throwing in vessels to try and get Eraser tricks going. That shouldn't be possible, but yeah, it's so true. He's just on the back foot too far. He can't get his balance, and adding on Scourge has been too far at the back of his mind for too long. Jaedong is trying to pump out drones, but he can't spend any of his, like, he's only mining minerals now and making drones. That's all he can do.
Yeah, it's not optimal. He's still he's stuck in the mode of surviving. He's never thriving. This is the problem. He's never actually getting into a good game state. He's always on the back foot. Now he's losing these lurkers too. Beautiful target firing from Speed. This is a great lurker bust attempt from him. He's going to kill so many additional drones. Some Scourge coming to clean up some of these vessels, but it doesn't matter. The damage is done. Also probably getting the snipe on this Ultralisk Cavern as well. If he gets the hatchery, that's wild. That's game ending if he gets the hatchery down here as well. There's no way that Jaedong can resecure this, and he's losing more drones to this Eraser trick. I think that might be it. I think he's going to have to tap out, saying that is critical damage now.
A beautiful game here from Speed, doing exactly what we credited him for at the beginning of this cast, cranking up the pressure, keeping the pedal to the metal, and just never letting off the gas. Speed has pushed Jaedong to the absolute limits, and now Jaedong's sitting here with 50 supply. He's below that critical amount where you can actually hold on forever as a Zerg player. He is eventually going to be broken here as he tries to re-drone. More drops are coming out. His losses, naturally, he can't even make his gas at his 4th base.
I mean,
and I don't think he should even be mining it right now because he's already got 800 gas and he just can't build drones.
I think Speed's favorite band is Spinal Tap, because he always turns it up to 11 saying GG, finally called. Big respect from Jaedong, noticing just how well Speed played in there, GGing him twice. I mean, phenomenal stuff from Speed. The man is an absolute crazy powerhouse of a player. It's no wonder he's got 3 or so accounts at the top 10 ladder. That's terrible.
All right, just quick wrap up.
Yeah, man, it's getting late for you.
Well, not exactly the ending that we were hoping for, but it was amazing to see Speed playing like the machine that we know him to be. We didn't get that last revive, but we still got a great series here, despite the Protoss squad roaching out. They're going to start this season with 0 points on the board.
Yep.
They're going to grab those 2 points, Zerg with 1, starting us off a little bit kind of similar to the last season, right?
We need to add like one more line to that P so it become an R for Roach saying, just pointing that out there.
Oh, we could do that. I got my editing skills together. We can go ahead and add that. Well, maybe we will if they don't show up for week number 2 as well. This is supposed to be a race battle. Where are the Protoss players? I mean, like we said last season, week 8. Go back and watch week 8. They won with the B squad. Where are the B squad players? Are they
perform well,
on a date right now? Are they at the club?
I mean,
they driving their Bugattis? What's happening?
Yeah, the games were played the day before Valentine's Day, so you can't tell me their girlfriends are that much of a 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even on Valentine's Day they're playing.
And this is their job, after all.
Yeah, man.
We got to get out here and make some money.
Represent your race.
It's not like they're doing this for free, guys. They can make money here for sure.
Yeah.
And Terran players are taking the prizes here.
They're making the memes seem too real to me. Like, now I actually have this image of these like Chad Protoss players that don't even put in the work, you know? I've got this image in my head now. I can't get rid of it.
It's a little bit too close to reality. Reality is sometimes stranger than fiction. Guys, this is the end of KCM week 1. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'm very excited about all the announcements at the beginning of the video.
Oh yeah.
Where there's so much good stuff going on right now. This is just the beginning, guys. Things are only going to get better from here.
What a time!
And we're gonna, we're gonna be here right along with you guys to watch all the great moments of Starcraft. I couldn't be happier, Shun.
I couldn't be happier either. Saying it's a dream come true, quite literally, not just figuratively. I'm sure Saiyan probably feels similar to that. It'd be hard not to be super stoked about this. If it seems like we've been calm and chill and cavalier about things, it's just because we're quite stoic and able to keep it down. But I'm sure I speak for us both when we're super excited about this.
Absolutely. We've been keeping it under wraps for quite some time, so we've kind of gotten used to it. But the excitement is definitely there, guys. We feel it. We feel it with you. And we're here for you. We're going to see you guys in the next week of KCM. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
See you there. All right.
Badum.
Okay.
Oh, before I go offline on stream, Post was saying, can I ask you about... Wait, what? Can I ask you... He want to move to Korea means he still want to participate StarCraft, right? He asked the question earlier.
What's that? He want to
move to Korea means he still want to participate StarCraft, right?
Who wants to move to Korea?
I think you saw what? No, was it Naokin?
Naokin already lives in Korea, man. He lives in Korea, and he just he's working on some other things. He's got like other obligations. He needs to get a job, and yeah, he's just a little busy right now. So he might be back casting for Starcast again in the future, but for now he's just going to be taking a little bit of a rest.
Yeah,
we're going to be filling in for him for the foreseeable future.
Makes sense. I'm happy with how things have turned out.
Yeah. Well, we got no complaints.
What time is it for you now, then? It's free for me.
It's like 11.
Oh, okay. How's the weather in Japan? Does it like stay like winter for a long time, or?
In Japan, it's gonna be winter for a little longer. Like, kind of starts warming up in March.
Yeah, I figured it'd be a longer winter compared to us in terms of when the season would change over.
Yeah, it'll be changing over soon. How's it over there in UK?
We're at like the last cold snap. Like, it's getting the cold again, wet again, just for a little bit longer, and then I imagine it'll be by the end of February it'll be turning season. It's a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I'm like coming around in March. It's kind of like island weather. Hey.
Yeah, yeah. It is like that, yeah. I think we're quite similar in that regard, the Japan and UK.
Dude, Japan got hit with some of the biggest snowstorms ever. They got like the most snow
Oh shit.
recorded for Aomori is like the snowiest city of more than 1 million people on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. They got and it's not even close how much snow. Like most places get like 1.5 meters of snow, something like that.
Right.
On the list, like top 10. And like the second place is like almost 2 meters, and then Aomori is like 3 meters. That's crazy.
Damn. I
Yeah.
imagine they have a lot of like
Wild.
snow plows and stuff just on standby.
Yeah, and this year they got like one of the highest on record snowfalls. So it's got to be a lot, a lot of snow.
They must have a lot of like extra money poured into that, just being prepared for it.
Yeah, probably.
You'd have to.
Probably. Yeah, I bet they get a lot of snow days for the kids.
Yeah.
How do you even move when it's like that? Like I was watching some like news report of Aomori, and like the people wake up in the morning and their car is like the snow is almost as high as their car.
Well, I imagine you'd probably want to stock up on like food so that if you get snowed in, you're not just fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
You definitely want to stock up on supplies in a situation like that.
Yeah. Get some extra like heating oil and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, just a few extra. Like you're going to be snowed in for a week or something at some point. It's only a matter of time.
Right. Just have an extra liter hanging around. Or a gallon or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my area is not super snowy at all.
How is the weather there? Is it like pretty like?
Well, I'm
extreme?
actually not in Japan right now. I'm in Philippines actually.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What are you doing in the Philippines, eh?
Well, my wife really wanted to get away from cold weather, and we were looking online to see if we could find somewhere like direct flight that's pretty cheap, and we got one for like $400 US round trip to Cebu in the Philippines.
Wait, for both of you or for each of you?
For each, yeah,
I was gonna
400
say,
each.
yeah.
Something like that. Yeah,
Still not bad.
yeah, still not bad. And we rented a apartment here, and it's cheaper than our apartment back home per month in Japan. So it's like 400, less than 400
Oh shit.
US for a month.
That's
And so
pretty good.
yeah. So yeah, we're just chilling, having a little bit of summer in the middle of winter.
You're cheating the system. You're glitching the matrix, my dude.
Yeah, my wife's been working really, really hard. I can't really afford it. But my wife's worked really, really hard, so she definitely deserves it. So we took some money out of the savings and splurged a little bit.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's good to prioritize the health and the soul and your mind state. Like sometimes a getaway like that is crucial to your overall health.
Yeah, well, especially when it's not only like cold, but also we live, close quarters, 24/7. She works at home, I work at home, and so like getting out of town for a little bit is kind of nice. Like,
I imagine it's nice where
it just gets a little.
Probably feels like when you finally get off a flight and you get to actually stretch your legs after being on like a tight flight. You know what I mean? Like we're all scrunched up, and you finally get to like stretch your legs, and like it's like a larger version of that.
Something like that. Yeah. maybe not that extreme, but like I don't know. It's like
Basically, a sense
yeah,
of liberation.
if you're living on an island, you know what I mean, for all year round, and then you get to go to the mainland, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, get a little like cooped up in the island. There's nowhere to walk to, you know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy you guys have managed to get away. Sounds like you needed it.
Yeah. It's good. It's nice. It's hot here. It's like 30 every day.
Your body might
Have
be
you ever been to
confused a little
Philippines?
bit initially, huh?
You ever been to
I've
Philippines?
I've not been to Philippines. No. It's like
It's,
America and Paris, isn't it?
Right. It's very poor. There's not a lot of like infrastructure. There's a lot of trash. It's a little bit sad. A lot of stray dogs.
Yeah.
A lot of a lot of poverty. But people are really happy. Like everybody's very friendly.
Good.
People are super nice. Food is really cheap. Yeah. It's pretty nice vibe, but it is sad. Like some countries just they cannot fucking pull it together.
No.
I don't know if it's government or what, or like culture or something, but like
Mixture of all of that.
it's a wild.
It's like a house of cards built in sand. You know what I mean?
It's like that friend, that like family friend, that like they're like the nicest people ever, but they can never get their finances together, and they're just constantly like, you know, on the edge of poverty, you know?
Yeah.
Like, dude, you guys are so nice. How come you can't just like figure this shit out? Like, what's going on? You got something's wrong.
Sometimes it's systemic. Sometimes it's like their parents didn't know either, so like they learned from their parents how to do it that way, as in the not good way, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's systemic, and they can't be avoided, and it's like goes down from generation to generation. Like, and there's not as even in modern day, even in like Western countries where like the slightly more advanced education systems, even they don't really teach you how to manage your finances. They just teach you how to like learn out of textbooks and shit. Even they don't teach you how to be good at finances, to be fair. Like, it's not really like a thing we teach people. It's not really something we cover in their development. Maybe we should.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that super hardworking, friendly person, just they can't get their shit together. It's weird.
Sometimes
there are a few of them out there.
I would argue it's trauma. I would argue it's like development issues, like in their childhood and stuff like that. Is it related to that as well? Maybe
at like a country level?
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, at the societal level, of course. Yeah. Like that's what I mean by systemic. It's like, you know, you can't avoid it. It's part of the system, the whole society system. If you build on rough foundations like sand, like that's the problem, is that society is the sand. The society is the problem, and people are there trying to make sense of it through the lens of society, but society doesn't actually make sense when you, in practical terms. Like, it makes sense on paper, but when you actually try and execute it in the real world, it doesn't make sense, because obviously there's lots of corruption and people lie and deceive, and there's crime, and there's all kinds of things that like make it so that the thing on paper doesn't quite, you know, operate the way it's supposed to. Same in like a Starcraft game. Like, on paper, you think the game's going to go a certain way, but when you actually try and play the game, all kinds of craziness happens, right?
True. For sure. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame to see, like...
But maybe there can be hope. Maybe there can be some kind of reforming of society, you know, some kind of like major change to upheave this and do something about it for the future generations, and AI can come in and take the burden of the weight of that. So like, you don't have to employ a bunch of people, you can just employ a bunch of AI agents to do the hard work for you. maybe there's hope for it all, but I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to not think all dystopian. You know what I mean?
I was thinking about this actually a couple of days ago, I think.
Yeah.
Where I was thinking that one of the big problems in the West right now is that we have like this kind of like a negative outlook on
Yeah.
life and like our societies
Yeah.
today, and a lot of that is because like our lives are not as good as our parents' lives, or like our chances of having a good life are not as good in some cases as our parents' lives. So like people are just not excited anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like they're like upset that they're not like getting the chance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To succeed. But if you come to a place like this, like Philippines, where there's still like a long way to go. Do you know what I mean? Their lives are like significantly better than their grandparents' lives.
Yeah.
And they have like that. They have a lot more hope. Do you know what I mean? They're like, look, things are going in a good direction. They might not be great now, but they're going in the right direction, and that's like a totally different vibe than a Western country where it's like, wow, we're really like everything's getting worse. You know what I mean?
To shit, yeah. And I agree with that. I think that there needs to be more positive vibes and positive energy, not like toxic positivity where you just like do a shit-eating grin and go
gaslight yourself.
Yeah. But I mean, like, but actually being hopeful and also being grateful for what you have got. I mean, obviously, like, life is suffering on pretty much a fundamental level. It's pretty hard to avoid suffering, and usually avoiding suffering leads to more suffering, right? Usually by running away and to avoiding suffering and chasing comfort usually leads to all kinds of problems. So there's no real getting away of it. No matter what you do, eventually reality snaps back on you and punishes you, right? So the best way is to, rather than fight that, just let it wash over you. Like rather than fighting the fear, let the fear wash through you. Just experience the fear and know that it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be uncertain. It's okay to feel whatever it is you're feeling in that moment. Let those feelings like flow through you and don't resist them. Just allow yourself to experience them in the moment, in the now. And when you are escaping from the infinite now and drifting off and thinking about the future and the past, rather than letting that create anxiety and depression, think more positively. So instead it creates more hope and togetherness.
Well, I like the way you're thinking, because that's like a more of a local, like that's like a you're not talking about like how the society should change itself, or it should be changed. You're thinking about how you can change yourself, and
Right.
I think that's the way that everybody should be thinking, rather than
Well, you can't fix you can't fix the problem with itself. The problem is society, so you can't fix society with society, so you don't do that. You instead look inwards and realize, hang on a minute, I need to dial my frequencies differently and stop blaming everything else for everything, and take some responsibility for what's going on. And that helps like take the pressure off a lot as well. I think in the West we promote like a victim mentality a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we promote a lot of an individual mind of thinking, which promotes a sense of narcissism as well, where it's all me and not about the greater picture, so to speak.
Yeah, I think there's some real truth to that. Do you have the sound? Audacity. You're deep. You're going deep.
By the way, my bad. I actually recorded that last bit as well. Do you mind if I just send you the whole thing and you clip off the end?
No problem.
Saves me finding where it was. Yeah, my bad for going too deep.
No worries. No worries.
All right. It's quite a long cast.
Yeah.
Considering it's just that was crazy. I mean,
It was wild.
I didn't expect it to be that much of a back. It wasn't like a complete reverse sweep, but it was almost. You know what I mean? Like it's quite drawn
But
out.
Jaedong versus Light game was hype.
Yeah, yeah. That was a lot more hype than thought.
That might be a highlight.
I would say that Jaedong versus Light game was probably like a masterclass in how to deal with mech switches and like showing you just how important it is to maintain a state of chaos and not allow any form of equilibrium. But both sides were doing well. Both sides got such crazy cost efficiency. Like it's a masterclass in trading. Really good game. It's going to be about 6-ish minutes from now.
Okay.
How long are you going to stay over there for then?
I'll be back in March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. March.
So you're literally just riding out winter.
Yeah, just the tail end of it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, we're just staying right in the city, and so we have good internet and all that, and then we'll on the weekend go out and do some touring around or whatever.
Yeah. Is it
still working full time?
Mondays and Wednesdays, you said?
Yeah, Mondays and Wednesday.
Okay.
I think that'll work.
Wait, are we doing this Monday coming up after weekend?
I think so. I gotta talk to Cruiser about it, but I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Man, hype that we can actually put out an announcement about it finally.
Finally, yeah.
Can actually talk about it to people once the announcement's out and all that shit.
Yeah. That's exciting.
I'm getting hungry now. It's like nearly 3:30. I haven't eaten all day.
Yeah, that'll do you.
Well, I've eaten some vapor of devil's lettuce, but that's like essence of essence of plant.
It's weird how sometimes marijuana makes you hungry, and then sometimes it like just totally soothes you to not be hungry.
That's the weird thing about it, is that sometimes it like completely, you can just smoke and never eat and not even ever get the munchies, or sometimes you like crave like crazy and you could eat a feast. It's strange.
Yeah, it is weird.
I wonder if it's to do with the strains, like if it's like a sativa, a more hybrid sativa focused strain is like more likely to stave off hunger, and maybe a more body high that's heavier indica strains are going to make you more hungry. I don't know.
I feel like when I'm like well watered and hydrated, I feel like I'm less prone to get
maybe
the
that's
munchies.
it. Maybe it's the combination of the drink and the herbal. Like if you didn't drink, maybe you would still crave food.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if I've got like weed and Coke or something to drink, or water, if I'm not drinking like anything, like water and weed, or water and squash, water and Coke, like I'm happy. usually. I don't really get hungry.
Might go back to Canada for a couple weeks in the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Go see the fam.
Yeah. How are they
Get
doing?
high as fuck. My parents are in Arizona.
Arizona. Nice, up in there. Hot as fuck.
They're yeah, it's really hot.
Even in
And
the winter.
Yeah, they're living in like a RV camp.
Yeah. Kind of like fry an egg on the pavement over there. It's fucking crazy.
Wildly hot, yeah.
It's fucking gnarly, man. I went over there. I went over for Thanksgiving one time, and I went for just before Thanksgiving and stayed for like 3 months. So I was there for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and a bit after. And it was winter months, and fucking hell, it was still so hot. It was beautiful at night because you had mountains as far as you could see, and it was like ice cold and beautiful. So I was like doing like Wing Chun fucking poses out on the fucking balcony, just meditating, like just adoring the like freezing temperatures because of how hot it is during the day.
That must be nice.
Fucking scorpions and shit, man.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Had baby scorpion in the bed once.
America's weird. America's gone fucking nutty.
Yeah.
I feel like
I'm on stream,
views
by the
are
way.
down on the channel a little bit. I feel like views are down on the channel a little bit. I think it's mostly because of Trump.
Wait, wait, really?
I was just thinking that it's probably that the guy's like a magnet for attention. Like, imagine all the people watching. Like,
I mean, yeah. Like, honestly, he is the best at it. I reckon there's some power in that. I reckon, like, do you know Warhammer 40k? You heard of that? I'm not like a big 40k nerd, but I know enough about the lore to know that there's a weird thing in the universe where it's like a power of belief. Like, even though there's like a god emperor faith where all the humans believe in something, even though it's not, doesn't matter if it's real or not, just their belief that many trillions of people all believe that one thing gives it strength in of itself, right? Same with like all the orcs all believe something to happen and it makes it so, even though it's bullshit, but they all believe it to be so. I think even though it sounds like hocus pocus, I think that actually is a reality. I think just the power of belief and people's eyes all being in the same direction has power in and of itself. And I think that's why there's power in what Donald Trump does, because there's so many fucking eyes on him and there's so much attention on him and there's so much like belief surrounding him, you know what I mean?
yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't want to get too political, but it's weird how there's like obviously there's good and bad in the shit that he does, but like even the things that I feel like are kind of good, like people won't even like admit that it's good because the personality is bad, you know what I mean? They're like,
Because they
still
can't
gonna fight against like
they're the same,
fight against something that's so obviously good, you know?
they're the same people that can't separate artist from artistry. It's like I might not like Michael Jackson as a person, but I can't deny the guy knows how to make some fucking good beats and good music. You know what I mean? Like, you can hate the guy as a person, but you can't deny their artistry. And that's the thing. Like, there's going to be people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and love them or hate them, they're going to say some dumb shit sometimes and some not dumb shit sometimes. It's not like everything they say is dumb and everything they say is good. That's the thing. People don't have any nuance to their thinking anymore. It's just all tribalistic groupthink of Orange Man bad, so therefore anything they say and do is bad, and la la la, I can't hear you. You know what I mean? Echo chamber type shit.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah, man.
Very fucking strange.
So I'm sure a lot of the moderate people are looking at that thinking, what the fuck is going on in the world? You know what I mean? Because all the Democrats and the people that are being very vocal and losing their minds are making them look bad. And the same on both sides. Like, the vocal minority always makes both sides look weird, right?
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, so you got a lot of tribalistic shit going on right now. It's going to get crazy up in here.
Feels like a sea change.
It's the other factory getting control. Like, you can't see it, but you have to think of society and the way, not even society actually, society maybe is too narrow of a term. It's almost like a superorganism. Think of it as like a global factory superorganism, an organic factory superorganism, but there's like more than one. There's like two massive, like, overarching powers vying for control, and they're made up of different, like, powers in the world that you see, but there's a lot of stuff you don't see. So there's figures like Trump and Elon Musk, and they're in one factory, and they've just taken over the other factory's job. So the other factory had control, and they were basically running the planet, and the other factories come in and said, no, we're gonna fucking come in and root out all of your corruption and bullshit and put all our stuff in. So it's basically like two factions warring for control over the planet, and they're made up of different conglomerates and individuals and billionaires and what have you. But it's a very red versus blue thing, and that's the way they want it. They want you to think of the world in that way, and that's how it's designed to be that way from the ground up. As a superorganism, you're just not aware of it. You don't see all the cables and the connections in between it. So you think you're just an individual going about your daily life, but really, just by existing, you're generating money for these billionaires. Just by scrolling on fucking YouTube, you've been literally commodified. Your human life, you're literally living the Matrix. You've literally been turned into a battery. Although it's not a battery, you're more like turned into like a, you know, like a dollar making machine for the rich. It's a technocrat. What do you call it? I can't even fucking speak. Techno feudalistic shit. I can't think of the terminology.
Any progress on the recording?
Should be done.
All right. Yeah, I just feel like I didn't feel this much when Trump got first elected. This time it feels different. It feels like more of the winds have shifted, you know what I mean? Like the tide is going out now, and it was coming in for such a long time.
Yeah. You got the overcorrection.
I don't think overcorrection has started yet, but like the correction has definitely started, and like we'll see how far it goes, you know what I mean? Because they could go so much farther.
Well, I mean, he's been full steam ahead since day one, right? It doesn't seem like he's slowing down.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, there are some things like, did you hear that they're gonna send illegal immigrants to Guantanamo Bay?
Wait, I actually didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's a new thing. Like,
That's interesting.
you know, it's gonna be like a holding area that, you know, it's a massive prison,
Yeah.
and they have like kind of like refugee facilities there too, like tents and stuff like that.
Right.
And they have a lot of prisoners who are like dangerous criminals in the US who are also illegal immigrants, and they're saying that like they want to send them back to their home countries, but they can't just send them back immediately. So what they're going to do is they're going to send them to Guantanamo Bay, and they're going to have them stay there, and if they're not super dangerous, then they just stay in a refugee camp. And if they are super dangerous, then they actually go into the prison, and then they hold them there until the country that they come from is willing to take them back, or they like have a plan to take them back, you know. Have beds open. And El Salvador also offered to open up a prison space for American prisoners.
I mean,
so like,
can I just say, like, love him or hate him, this is what they voted for. Like, people, he said he was gonna, pretty much everything he said he was gonna do, he is either doing or has done or is in the progress of doing in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And he was kind of embellishing a little bit, like he said, "Oh, as soon as I get president, I'm one phone call and the war's done in Ukraine." Obviously, it's not going to be quite like one phone call and it's done, but it does seem like he's already made progress in that area of like talking with Putin and shit. So it does seem like pretty much across the board, he's setting out to do everything that they elected him to do. So I don't know what the fucking stink is all about, personally.
I know. It's just it is funny. Like El Salvador offered you can send your prisoners here, even American citizens if you want. That was the offer, and Trump said like I don't know if that's possible. We'll have to check legally if that's even possible, but it's a cheaper alternative. Maybe we would do that if it was illegally okay. We would do it. Like, oh my gosh.
Well, you have to also remember the guy is totally a businessman,
legally.
so he will say anything that he knows might generate potential leverage in any negotiation. So you also have to remember that. You have to remember that he will say whatever gives him any form of leverage later on. So he does say a lot of crazy shit to create leverage sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah. That is like one of his major like moves is to like not take anything off the table. You know what I mean? To make sure that everything,
exactly.
They ask him like, would you possibly are you taking it off the table to take Greenland by force with military?
Yeah,
I'm not taking that off the table.
I'm not going to say we want to do it, but we're not necessarily going to say take it off the table. We'll come back to that. He's just like, yeah, well, of course he's going to do that because he knows that generates so much like, what the fuck? What's this guy going to do next? Kind of thinking. You know what I mean? And then when it comes to negotiating, you want to be on side of him. You want to come to terms. You don't want those crazy other outcomes. You know what I mean?
Right.
This guy
when you start like eliminating possibilities, then people kind of know where you're at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're just a wild card,
and if he's like,
no one knows what you're gonna do.
Yeah, because then he could be literally like a mobster and be like, "Oh, you don't want to do that? Okay, well, I guess we just have to do this then." It's fucking crazy, but it works. It creates that uncertainty and forces you to come to the table. It's like it's gangster level negotiations, but it works on a business level.
Yeah, it's interesting. But that's the thing. It's so intriguing to watch that I know that like fucking everybody's watching this shit. You know what I mean?
Oh,
everybody's watching it.
It's crazy that the guy is like actually doing it. Like Unless that assassination attempt was staged and this is like somehow the best guy at like you could make the argument that this is a whole conspiracy and that somehow they've managed to engineer him to looking this cool of a guy, but it does seem like with the recent shit that happened with like the assassination attempt and him just getting up and be like fight and seemingly actually being able to back up his talk with action has made him seem like a way more competent leader than the first time around. Before they were kind of spinning him as a joke. Now it's kind of hard to deny.
Yeah. Can you send that thing over? I want to get started.
I think I uploaded it. I just didn't send you the link.
Okay.
Wait, did I not copy? Oh, it's because I know what happened. I got distracted because Post messaged me, and I
gotcha.
And I didn't actually send it to you, but I had the uploaded for you. Wait, make sure it's accessible. Is it? Did I switch it to anyone with link? Should be.
No, I think it wasn't.
Let me check.
Yeah, I need access.
Yeah. Okay. Now try. The second link might work. Hang on.
Oh, the first one worked now.
Okay.
Oh, so did you see that he put together a task force to release the documents on JFK, RFK, Martin Luther King, 9/11, COVID, and UAPs as well. All the documents.
Yeah, it's and he said he would do that, and that was one of the things I thought, oh yeah, come on, okay,
Sure.
you're probably gonna backpedal on that and be like, oh, you
Roach-
know what,
you're gonna roach out.
it's a matter of national security, we can't talk about that, you know what I mean? Like, I thought he'd roach out on
Right.
that a little bit, but if he actually does that, fucking hell,
That'll be so fun.
next level. I mean, it's gonna
That'll
be
be
heavily
so fun.
it's gonna be heavily redacted though. It's just gonna be like blocks of black, you know what I mean? Like so much
Maybe.
will be redacted, I imagine.
Possibly. I hope not, but yeah, it's possible.
I'm going to be guessing now it's going to be heavily redacted.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but I hope not. It's just fun to even think about it. Like, think about how many books have been written about just the JFK assassination alone.
Oh, fucking
How
crazy
wild.
amounts. And I imagine if people did have some kind of closure, it would be like fireworks in terms of like, it'd be like waiting for the season finale of like your favorite TV show of all time, you know? You'd be like, so excited for it. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be super, people going nuts for it.
People really want to know. People have wanted to know for decades, man.
I mean, the MK Ultra stuff, stuff about UFOs and stuff could be interesting for people. Like, people be interested in all kinds of stuff out of files like that.
For sure.
It's unprecedented. That's the thing, is Trump is such a narcissist that he's doing unprecedented shit because he wants to solidify his legacy, right? Which means he cares. Which is the funny thing about it, is like he's a fucking total dickhead, which makes him a good guy because he's such a dickhead that he cares about looking like not a dickhead, that he will do the right thing and actually do what he says he will do. Does that make sense? Like, he cares so much about his legacy that he doesn't want to look bad.
Right. But he also doesn't care if he looks bad.
It's weird though. It's weird. He's a weird. That's the thing, is like he's such a narcissist that he actually will maybe do the right thing accidentally just because it'll give him like looking good points at them. I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes he accidentally does the right thing. I don't know how good of a guy he is, but sometimes he stumbles his way into doing the right thing.
Yeah, it seems that way.
We'll have to wait and see how that pans out.
I'll be enjoying the ride. Certainly not boring, anyway.
Yeah.
Where is this? Is that it? No, that's it right there. I've been enjoying Kingdom Come Deliverance a lot. It's been fun.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it's a good game. It's a very unique game. Plays, you know, a little bit wonky at times, like janky in terms of how the combat handles, but it does simulate quite a realistic experience, even though it can feel janky at times. Overall, I like the experience.
Yeah. I'm realizing that like I really do need to like do a lot of like training and stuff and like getting better. Because I fucking found an enemy that like I can't beat him.
Well, yeah, because think about
No
this.
matter how well I play.
Even if you're good in terms of like your reaction speed is good or whatever, it doesn't matter because it's an RPG game in essence. So like if he's got a high
Right.
weapon skill, it's taking him less stamina to swing, so it's taking you more stamina to swing. So you're running out of stamina to attack him, and then he's still got stamina left to not only defend against anything you throw at him, but then do damage to you. And because you've got no stamina, you then take damage. So it's like there's no way of hope for you unless you've got at least some skills and you've trained up a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of realistic like that, where it forces you to actually go out into the world and train yourself up from nothing.
Yeah, I have to like find teachers, and I need to freaking pay for classes, and I need to fight in tournaments and learn different weapons and stuff.
You can kind of get
it's a real challenge.
You can use your skill to kind of reduce the gap of skill issue. So it's like you can sometimes finesse your way into killing people maybe you shouldn't be able to kill, but not a massive gap. Like if you're just totally undergeared and totally underleveled, they will just shred you because they're like a master swordsman compared to like a rookie. They're just gonna imagine how much of how easy it'd be for like a master swordsman to disarm a peasant and kill him.
Right.
Yeah. So you can kind of make up for a small gap in gear and skill, but not a huge gap. So yeah, eventually you gotta grind up like a peasant would and actually learn how to fight.
All right. Oh wait, I have to.
I like master striking. Master striking is the best, where it's I'm not sure how. I can't remember if it works the same in game number 1, but I think it's similar. But in game number 2, it's you attack from the opposite angle at the perfect block timing. Rather than defending, you attack from the opposite angle. So if they attack from the right, you attack from the left, and you interrupt their attack and get instant damage on them. But you have to do an opposite attack. So if they swing from above, you have to thrust from below. And if they thrust from below, you have to swing from above. But you have to do an attack when it's a perfect block moment. And that's called that's a master strike. That's my favorite move to do. But you have to attack from the opposite angle whenever they attack at a perfect block moment. It's the most stamina efficient for me, in my opinion. With that technique, you can 1v4. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I'm not at that level yet. I don't have that skill yet.
It's hard because you need footwork as well, because in a 1v4 situation you've got to constantly be repositioning yourself to make sure that you don't get surrounded, because you can't block someone that's not directly in front of you.
Yeah. I'm at level 10 swordsmanship or something like that.
That's not bad. It's pretty good. Yeah, I think you'll really enjoy the second one. If you're enjoying the first one, you're going to be psyched to play the second one as well. I realize my stream's still on. I might go offline now. Thanks for watching, guys.